there, you awakening wonders. Fear not, for God is real, and you live in but a fragment of reality. That is what we are awakening to, the sensory illusion of completeness provided through the instruments of the senses and the great power that lurks within you, probably down by your belly button or your groin, somewhere like that. If you're watching us on YouTube, the first 15 minutes will be available before we slip off into our sweet home, Rumble, where we're free to speak openly and plainly, to bring people together in a glorious celebration of love. Not like in the dystopian future that your overlords are planning for you even now, where a chrome ball will float into the center of your vision, scan you up and down the iris in exchange for a crypto token. Is that what you call life? I don't know. Would you, my on-screen assistant and ally, Gareth Roy?
I'll probably end up doing it.
You'd do it, wouldn't you?
Probably will.
God, I remember last time round, if you scuttled off to them outdoor tents so enthusiastically, you couldn't get there fast enough.
I believed them.
They lied to us, but you knew all along, didn't you? And when we're exclusively on Rumble, that's one of the things we'll be talking about, because new data has revealed from Scotland, that's how they talk up there, that we were told many a lockdown lie. Oh, it was a lockdown monster. In our I Am Here's the News, we'll be telling you yet more about the UFO hearings. Has it all been a distraction, as you long suspected, or was it simply a way to ratchet up budgets? I bet it was. First, though, Elon Musk reckons he's going to pay the legal fees of anyone who asks him, although as long as it pertains to a free speech issue or where they posted on. Are we going to call it X?
We're going to have to call it X.
What do you mean? Aren't you going to keep calling it Twitter?
Well, what do you do when you do an X? You know, do you...
Tweet. Isn't it? Like, you can't just change that. I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
Xting.
Xting.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
I have no idea.
Is that what you're supposed to say? Let us know in the
know.
comments. Are we supposed to say we're Xting each other? We're going to just change that now. Oh, I miss that little blue bird.
Right.
He's white on a blue background, but I miss him all the same, don't you? I don't know, do you? Does it matter?
What did he represent, Russ?
He represented the FBI intruding into your private affairs. He represented the Hunter Biden laptop being kept out of the news, even though they knew it was true. He represented mind management, that our attention now has become a commodity, that knowledge, that awareness itself is regarded as little more than a resource by the powerful elites that would herd you into paddocks of ignorance, where we would liberate you into the great pastures and plains of sweet lady freedom. Would we?
Yeah, we would.
I think that's what we're trying to do. So Elon Musk says, if you're punished by an employer, let us know. If you've been punished by an employer, you could be in line for a community action trust reward. That's not my words. That's Crime Watch, a British show from the 1980s. No, of course you haven't.
It does sound like one of those adverts, though, doesn't it? That if you were unfairly treated by an employer,
were you injured at work?
Exactly.
I was injured at work, actually. That sort of thing's always happening to me.
But he says he'll fund the legal bill of anyone who was unfairly treated.
He can't even run his own company, can he, anymore? They've had to sack 80% of the team. How's he going to pay for all these legal bills?
I guess in that category, you would have to put Donald Trump.
Is it pro bono? Is it no win, no fee? How are they going to do it? Well, he's going to have to pay for Trump.
What I'm saying is, if Trump literally said to him, pay my legal fees.
It was because of a tweet. It's
kind
because
of
of an
have
X
to.
I did. But no, he's going to be because of his Truth Socials.
Yes.
Are you on Truth Social?
No.
Do you go on Truth Social? It's not as catchy as Twitter.
Not, is it?
No.
As X?
X. Also, though, there's a new world coin out now. Do you remember when cryptocurrencies were bad? Well, that was when the government couldn't control them and use them to capture data that they suck straight out of your eyeballs. Before you know it, your eye will be bouncing on your cheekbone, your optic nerve hanging like a suspender belt, while all of your information is sucked out of your cerebellum. Is that what you want? Because that's what's going to happen. Let's have a look at these new eye-hole-sucking chrome balls and ask yourself, do they put conspiracy theories out there that's so outlandish that so that when the truth actually happens, you're like, oh, this is not as bad. For example, and I know some of you that are out there. I know you are, because we read your comments. We read your crazy comments, you beauties. If you're watching us on Rumble, click the red button now and join us on Locals. But you know when people say stuff like nanotechnology in particular medications, right? And you think, oh, come on, that's going to be expensive to do that at scale. You think that's too crazy. But well, where we are now is a chrome ball is going to suck information out of like what people in prison would call your extra orifice, one of your upstairs empty ports. And they're going to suck all of the information out of there and give it to the government. Doesn't seem right, does it?
Doesn't.
Let's have a look.
This silver sphere, now the subject of privacy concerns across the world. An eyeball scanning machine promising to prove just how human a person can be in the fact.
Just how human a person can be. You're already as human as you can't be more human than you are, can you?
No.
I mean, what do you like? Because human just means you are a biological entity born of another human, doesn't it?
Yep.
Like you can't be more of that because of a chrome ball says so.
No, well, this is apparently all in aid of proving that you're human online and that you're not a bot. So we've created...
Instead of having to do that zebra crossing.
Right.
I hate having to do that zebra crossing.
Yeah.
How many motorbikes are it? What about them letters? And
It's
it's
so
an A and a
confusing.
4. Oh, I don't know. Is that an A or is it a 4? Can you help me, Chrome Disk? I can help you, but it's going to cost you your freedom. Now open up your eye hole. I said eye hole. Sorry, I thought I'd take a chance. So let's get it. It's to make sure that online we're as people as we say we are.
Right. But, you know, so we've created this internet space that basically was meant to be this place of freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, all these things.
Hold on.
Oh.
Hey, my button desk.
No, his
button
button.
desk's not on.
His freedom button.
Allegedly. Freedom. George Michael, did he die in vain? Did he? All right. There you go. Yeah, go on. The internet's meant about freedom.
Yeah, it was meant to be about that. Then it got to a place where it was all about commerce. Then it was a place where, there's all these bots everywhere. And now we have to prove to the internet that we're human enough to be there. It sounds...
Hey, I don't like that, Gareth.
And the only way we can do that is by giving away all our data to the government.
Prove to me that you are a human. Let me look down your eye hole. But you're a robot. What kind of society are we living in where a robot can come up to me in the street and ask me how human I am when it itself is just an uprooted headlight floating in space? In the latter Star Wars movies where R2-D2 instead became that sort of two balls rolling around guy.
Yeah.
I didn't like him.
No.
I didn't like him as well because it was clear that they went, oh, look, it's a bit like R2-D2, but not as good or cute or anything, and can't have a small person in there operating. It's just a couple of Magno balls, even though the toy version of it was quite BB-8, I'm being told. The toy version of it was quite good.
Right.
You could have a remote control one, maybe.
Okay. And you can't have a remote control R2-D2.
Too difficult because he's just going to have wheels underneath him. He's not going to be able to go anywhere. C-3PO, there's a lot of tension between those guys. Anyhow, what I will say is this guy is just an advance on that. And instead of helping out once in a while, like R2-D2 did, conveying perhaps Princess Leia's ransom message, saying that, Luke's her only hope, what's this guy doing? Just sucking information out of your eye hole with its mind? Disgusting.
But in exchange, you do get $50.
If someone says, can I suck information out of your eye hole for $50? You know what you've become? You've gone on the game. You've inadvertently brassed yourself. You've brassed yourself off out the eye hole. And for what? Because of that lad who's called Sam Altman or whatever. These new billionaires that we're all having to get used to.
That's right.
He's really important now. Billionaires, they used to just be in a top hat, maybe in a Monopoly box, not causing too much trouble. Now they want to tell you everything they think, don't they? Why don't you go and live on Mars? Oh, this is the way to solve all the problems. Why don't you reorganize agriculture?
Yeah, well, if Elon Musk is to believe ChatGPT and OpenAI is going to eliminate a section of society when it comes to jobs, and now his other new invention, this, whatever you're going to call it, this orb is going to give all your information to the government. So it doesn't seem like all that positive.
To undermine it, I'm going to call it Roy Orbison, and I'm going to demand that it joins the band Travelling Wilburys. Late career Roy Orbison. Let's see what else it's offering, this new Chrome eye sucker.
Growing world of artificial intelligence. It's called the World Coin Orb, and it's the latest passion project by the founder of ChatGPT.
Why you think it's funny there too? It's
passion for giving away your data.
I'm really passionate about sucking information out of people's eyes, giving it to the government, and then we're in charge, kind of.
Yes.
It's a world of authenticity that works like this.
To start,
it's a world of authenticity. Yes. That's not the news. It's a world of authenticity. It's not. It's a chrome ball sucking information out of your eye hole, giving it to the government and giving you 50 space bucks in exchange. But now it's tracking you and it'll be able to switch off your bank account.
There could be anything less authentic than what your relationship with the government is meant to be, other than a giant metallic orb that sucks all your data out of it and gives it to them.
When I think of authenticity, immediately one thing comes to mind. It's not sovereignty, it's not personal freedom, it's not communities rising up together to support one another in harmony with nature. It's this mirror ball sucking information out from under your eyebrow.
To download the World app, to sign up, just find the nearest
cheeky theme tune it's got, like it's Mario Brothers.
99 right on the app.
What this commercial fails to mention is the biometric data that is then collected in exchange for a...
Yeah, also we'll be taking your biometric data. We're getting that.
Didn't forget to mention it.
Forget. That was a deliberate omission. Yeah. Should we include the bit where we steal all their data? Well, that actually undermines the entire project. No, you're right. And I'm passionate about this project. Passion.
Digital ID. Some of those orbs found in Nairobi, Kenya, where authorities are now scrambling to suspend operations, saying there are too many unknowns. Over the last...
Too many unknowns. They're scrambling. This is extraordinary because if you think of the grammar of news that people that grew up in the 80s are used to, like these are sort of stories of philanthropy in the continent of Africa, measures undertaken to apparently intervene benignly in civil wars or to help in famines. Now, data. People in Kenya queuing up to receive food tokens at any rate, in exchange for their data, so that this scheme can be piloted, so they can bring it to apparently more, I don't want to say evolved, but technologically advanced, I suppose is the appropriate term, societies. They're piloting this so they can do it to all of us.
Absolutely right. And we all know about Facebook in terms of the colonization of the internet over there. Facebook made sure that all the phones in huge portions of Africa
and Malaysia, I think, as well. I do a lot of research, a lot.
Were fitted with Facebook was your access to the web, to the internet, and it's a new form of colonization, isn't it?
It's so weird, the sort of bargains we're having to make with technology now. If you want to go on the internet, you have to sign up for Facebook. If you want to eat some food, you need to let this little R2-D2 suck data out of your eye hole.
Last week, more than 350,000 Kenyans have already gotten their eyes scanned here.
Look, right, because they initially chose a shot of some Kenyan folk looking quite upbeat. You know, like, oh, this is good. We're near the front. Now, though, the Kenyan people, some look a little bit more dispirited, like they're queuing up for like a One Direction concert. You have to stay out in the rain for ages to be the first in line to get an iPhone 13. But really, this is I would say an exploitative measure where people that to some degree are desperate and willing to queue up are having their data stolen and experimented with so they can iron out. What are our comms around this? How do we say this isn't an invasion into your privacy?
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about dystopia, you look at Hollywood movies and where it's like they literally create two-tier societies where you've got one race or portion of the human race that has access to certain things and one that's, living it up, and that's what we're moving towards, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it. Like often, do you notice this, guys? You're watching the news and you can see the building blocks of dystopia. You can feel your passage. You can feel that you're being midwifed into dystopia now. They have to make it sound sort of cordial and friendly. This is fantastic, but ultimately, it's hell, isn't it? Hey, listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to depart now because there's yet more dystopic revelations to convey. This time concerning your precipitations and your foresight around the COVID lockdowns. The Scottish, of all people, those pioneers in the world of finance, caber tossing, haggis, and golf, have finally revealed to us that lockdowns may have been allegedly not everything that was claimed. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in your description right now and join us on Rumble. If you're watching this on Rumble, press that red button right now. Become a member of our community. You get first access to important interviews like the conversation that we had with Peterson yesterday. It got very heavy with me and JP Gal.
Well, of course it did.
Because there was one bit where what he said is that sex itself evolved, i.e. that...
How did they get onto sex? So I thought we were meant to be talking about politics.
I'll tell you how, because straight away he came in and I went, switch-swoo. Looking good, JP. And he was wearing a leather harlequin suit and a wooden tie. And I made... Wooden? Yeah, a wooden tie, Gal. You got a problem with that?
Oh.
You got a wooden tie made out of wood, and that enabled me to make some pretty good Pinocchio jokes because you know that he talks about Pinocchio.
Right.
Of course he does. What, you're not surprised by that?
No, not remotely.
What, you're not even going to comment on that he talks about Pinocchio?
What's his theory on Pinocchio?
Pinocchio. You know, Pinocchio. No, the Pinocchio is a classic archetypal tale, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Plucky little lad, books on his back, apple for the teacher, sees a cat and a fox on his way to school. Wait a minute, he's joined a marionette band of theatrical pirates. All of a sudden, he's living an illusory life. In order to become real, you have to suffer. In order to rescue the father from the belly of the beast, the father, the man that you will become when you liberate yourself from the artificial puppet person that you initially are, you have to wrestle with the beast down at depth, same as Jonah. Anyway,
sounds a lot like the plot to my bookie book.
Available now. A plucky little lad. He followed a cat. Well, it's a sort of a word for cat. And he got way off track as a result of that.
There was lots of that going on.
Hey, diddly-dee, actor's life for me. Those were the days, simpler times in a way. So obviously me and JP started flirting. And one of the things that got said was that sex itself was not like the procreation prior to sex was done by sort of, I don't know, like amoeba or something splitting up, or that there are some kind of lizards that can procreate.
How you got into the science of it?
Yeah,
amoeba, Sammy.
Hey, some kind of, here, JP, there's these lizards and amoebas on that. I don't need to get one. Good. Here, JP, lizards in there. They don't need to get one up here. I don't know, Russell, you're oversimplifying. Anyway, he said that sex itself evolved to introduce new complexity into evolution so that parasites couldn't continue to evolve alongside the species that were hosting them, exploiting them. I then back-referenced that when he said that identity politics was too dependent on sex and sexuality, that's not the most important aspect of your identity, and why would you bolt your identity onto that? And I goes, though, hold on, mate, you said that sex was a significant thing earlier. So I win that round.
Oh, I used it against him.
I used his own words against him. Later, I used his own wooden tie against him as a sort of baton in a light-hearted Swiss-themed war.
Nice
but
stuff.
Your
chats, although as you say, used it against him, I think they're really passionate conversations between you. You've got a nice relationship.
You know, when I'm doing that, I hurt myself.
Oh, dear.
That's how fragile I am.
Oh, no.
I'm that fragile. Listen, we are only on Rumble, right? So, hey, listen, remember COVID lockdowns when you were all locked down in your house, and sometimes you might find yourself doing what you were told and that, and you don't like being told what to do and then actually doing it. Like, you should think, if someone tells you what to do, just don't do it.
Right.
Try that. We're a context where you shouldn't do that. Work.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Try there.
Certain instances, aren't there?
I'm not going to do that.
I mean, you told all your kids at school, all the kids out of school, not your kids. Actually, some of them were your kids.
A couple of them were.
They'd
already walked out.
Disobey
rules. Where are you going? I'm disobeying your rule. Well done. So, like, I do encourage the disobedience because I believe in personal freedom and autonomy, and I'm suspicious of many rules and much of the kind of authority that we're supposed to obey these days. And it turns out I'm right to do that because there was no evidence to support COVID lockdowns in Scotland during the pandemic. Says a new report. That's in the Scottish Express, which is what they have instead of newspapers up there. Now, that's just a joke, English Scottish stuff. And also what they've been saying is that vaccines may not have been of any use at all when it came to sweet lady COVID. Am I right in saying that, Gal?
Yeah, I mean, you are. Yeah. So this was apparently there's a COVID inquiry going on in Scotland at the moment, and some of the findings
Homemade
are
beef jerky
or no evidence
and
to
smoked string
suggest
cheese.
lockdown, social distancing, or face masks.
That's all of it. That's the whole
any
thing.
impact. Yeah.
There's nothing else left.
Lunch
No,
and
and obviously
jerky.
What's next? Them nurses' Instagrams. Oh, them nurse TikTok videos also were stupid. But I mean, that's the whole of the mask, social distancing, vaccine, lockdown,
Rainbows.
rainbows. Those rainbows may have carried HIV. I mean, what's next? What, you don't like that joke?
No, I'm fine with
Well,
that.
that's
I was kind of I guess the advance of this is because we've heard.
You just said it's a closed mouth sound.
Sorry,
You didn't go, didn't even do a polite laugh. That's a bit better. I'll take that. I'm happy with that. No, I'm happy with that. No, that'll do.
But we've reported on. I think the Telegraph has written about how lockdowns in the UK have been shown to be ineffective. But this takes it one step further into talking about vaccines themselves. So Dr. Ashley Croft, consultant public health physician and medical epidemiologist. So he's part of this COVID inquiry.
How do you know he's a man, you sexist pig?
I actually don't. Thanks for picking me up on that.
No further questions.
On vaccines, he said it remains unclear as to whether or not COVID-19 vaccination has resulted in fewer deaths from COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines have been shown in randomized controlled trials to be effective or probably effective in reducing the number of people acquiring COVID. However, vaccine-induced protection against COVID is short-lived.
Gal, what about that woman on the Congress there? She was called something like Waverley Wexleyford.
Yeah.
What was she called that? And she said, oh, but the first one, it was good for the first one.
Oh, right. Oh, yes. You mean Walensky?
Walensky.
Yeah.
Waverley Wexleyford. Walensky. She said, like, oh, the thing was with the vaccines, they were very good for the first round of COVID, but they ran out of puff.
She essentially said that they were basically they were getting at they were 100% effective, but we know that there are emails between her involving and the CDC involving.
Oh no, they're not. That's brilliant.
Fauci saying we know of breakthrough cases, i.e., we know that people who have had the vaccination are still getting COVID.
We did a great presentation on that. That's available. You can look at that at Rumble right now. Very funny video. You'll love it. Also, what about when Albert Bourla, wish he was a bit taller, CEO of Pfizer, when he was on the news getting noshed off by a panel of women, sort of all going, "Oh, you've done so well with this vaccine." He goes, "Now you were hoping it might be 80% effective, but how effective was it?" And he goes, "I think it was 96% effective." Well, what percent is it now? No percent. No percent effective.
No, I think with all these vaccinations,
you might as well have done nothing.
I don't think that's like strictly true, because I think a lot of people obviously say that for certain age groups, the vaccines at certain times are extremely effective and continue to be so.
You know what? I've got an idea. If you love the vaccines so much, why don't you marry it? Let's see if we can get it in here. No, hold on. Yeah, can we get the vaccines here? Because Gareth wants to marry it.
Yeah. I'm just saying that what is being uncovered is that now we know that, we're showing how effective that they were at the time. But the knowledge, as you say, about Rochelle Walensky at the time also was that they knew these breakthrough cases of COVID for people with the vaccines, were occurring. So that comes down to what they should be transparent about.
We now know it wasn't clinically trialed for transmission. We now know that the lockdown measures were not scientific, according to Chris Whitty. We know that the social distancing laws were arbitrary, according to testimony out of the United States of America. And now the Scottish, of all people,
this is what he's talking about. String cheese,
deep fry their own sexual parts if they thought there might be a calorie in it, have been forced to come up with the hard fact to swallow. That vaccines possibly did next to nothing, or fuck all, as they would doubtlessly say. Time now for yet more truth. Could the recent UFO testimony being entertained by Congress, is there a problem, sir?
No,
is there a problem?
Not.
Is there something wrong?
Either will do.
Would you loosen your bra strap? Could the recent UFO testimony being entertained by Congress have anything to do with increased military spending? You told us that you were suspicious and cynical about these UFO findings. We've had Jeffrey Corbell, sorry, he's my friend, Jeremy Corbell.
Yeah.
We've had him on here numerous times, revealing, and we've had David Grush. We've not had him on yet, have we?
No, we haven't had Grush on yet. We'll get him on. Yeah, look, I think these whistleblowers are great. I think the things that they're revealing are great. It's just, as we talk about, is how this is being used.
Is it being used to increase military spending? It seems possibly that you were right, that they are using UFO testimony to increase military spending. I can't believe you guys keep being right. Here's the news. No, here's the effing news.
No, here's the fucking news.
You were right. UFOs, even if they are real, will be used to create massive military budgets and huge distractions. What a surprise. We're, of course, looking at the UFO hearings. We're examining whether or not there are non-human entities among us, whether or not there are recovered extraterrestrial spacecraft, and why, as usual, you were right that this is being used to generate extra military expenditure without ever really acknowledging the deep reality suggested by these whistleblowers' revelations. Let's have a look at the story. Starting off with this tweet from the Empire Files. Wonder if all the UFO stuff suddenly being entertained by Washington has anything to do with this. US Space Force budget hits $30 billion in 2024 proposal. That sounds like the government to try and use a cultural or public phenomena to generate generate more revenue for Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. There are extraterrestrials from another dimension, and they come here in peace. That's why we've asked Lockheed Martin to build these new, deadly fucking things. President Biden's $842 billion budget request for the Defense Department for fiscal year 2024 includes $30 billion for the US Space Force, the largest funding request to date for the military space branch. How like the governments of our time to take the ontological miracle that there are advanced intergalactic species communicating with us, some of you believe that, some of you don't, and turn it into additional expenditure for military private contractors. This is a sort of miracle akin to the kind of revelations that you would read in scripture. There are pervasive intercosmic consciousnesses communicating with us. Potentially this has been happening throughout civilization. Maybe the reason there are gaps in our observable evolution is because for a long time advanced species that perhaps have even been involved in our advancing civilization. Perhaps some of the phenomena we discuss in scripture, religion, in temples and synagogues around the world relates to these heavenly beings, these orbs in the sky, these chariots of fire. So I've spoken to Raytheon and we're going to blow those motherfuckers right out of the sky. The proposed budget procures and modernizes capabilities to secure the use of space in the face of increasing threats to US national security space systems, the Pentagon said in budget documents. So while this is a very novel story, I mean, for someone my age, it's almost ridiculous that in public there are congressional hearings in those rooms that we're familiar with now, from like McCarthyism and mob hearings where people are discussing people from outer space. We're going to need more money. And also identifiable and peculiar, yet oh so typical, is fear. This is frightening. This is a threat. There are advanced extraterrestrial beings. Because another interpretation could be, well, what the hell are we having a war between Ukraine and Russia for if there are extraterrestrial beings? They could be a threat. They could be friendly. We don't know yet. One thing's for certain. We all live on one rock in limitless space. We should be turning our attention and our combined efforts to finding ways to live peacefully.
If YouTube needs an update to that.
Clearly a massive and defining culture like American culture is falling apart right now. There's no reason.
I know YouTube's had a lot of chat issues lately.
What we perhaps could advance are new ways of living, new ways of worshipping together, new ways of affording one another the maximum amount of freedom into the face of the revelation that here in the universe we are not alone, that the infringements and fractures between us don't amount to a great deal when you consider that there are presumably powerful civilizations that could wipe us out like that. Let's get on with the business of using diplomacy and peacemaking as the modalities of our time. No, instead of that, let's prepare for more war against people with big eyes and grey faces. I hate those grey-faced bastards flying around like that. Ignore the rules of gravity, would you son of a bitch? So with all these UFO whistleblowers, some of them from pretty respected positions within the deep state, how have the Pentagon reacted? What's their reevaluation of the new reality that we find ourselves living in? The head of the Pentagon's UFO office has slammed last week's shocking congressional hearing in which 3 whistleblowers claimed they had first-hand encounters or knowledge about secret government programs involving technology that is non-human. Firstly, why have you even got a UFO office if you don't think there's such a thing as UFOs? What are you doing in that UFO office? Nothing. There's nothing to do in there because UFOs are not real. We just sit in there and we do nothing all day long except not auditing our massive expenditure on wars. We sit in there with calculators doing nothing. I actually was able to write boobless. Look, you have a UFO office if you don't think there are such things as UFOs. How could there be non-human technology? All day long in the UFO office, we laugh and laugh about the ridiculousness of that. Next door in the crocodile office, they're astonished.
It's funny, there's a disco right here called Jars.
Weird, big, jagged-toothed lizard things.
They got a big mason jar.
What a lot of bullshit. Sean Kilpatrick issued a statement Friday denying some of the witnesses' claims. David Grush, a former top intelligence official, testified that in his role liaising with Kilpatrick's office on UFOs, he discovered the government was keeping crashed non-human spacecraft secret from the public and illegally from Congress. So how is this being used now? As a distraction from criminality within government, from ludicrous jumped-up charges and bizarre hearings, from FBI deep state corruption? Perhaps it's being used in all of these ways. But one thing that the Pentagon are not doing is admitting that it's plausible and true. So remember, those of you that sort of just automatically, if they say UFOs are real, UFOs are not real, remember, it could be a bit more complex than that. But in his statement, Kilpatrick called the testimony insulting. He's insulted by that. Here in the UFO office, we don't hear any crazy talk about UFOs. When I shut that door of my UFO office, I don't hear about aliens or spacemen or spacecraft. We're sitting there and we talk about stuff that only happens here on Earth. That's it. I'm insulted by that. Hey, what do you think all these spaceships are that we got around here and these gravity-defying machines and this alien corpse? And what's David Gross talking about? I don't want to hear it. Shut the UFO office door. And I don't want to hear a word out of you, E.T., or you, Alf. Chewbacca, shut your mouth. I don't want to hear it.
Better late than never.
And claims Grush was never a representative to his unit, officially called the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. We don't want any anomalies or resolutions in that office. Grush never fitted in here at the UFO department. He kept going on about like lights in the sky and space people and stuff, getting on my fucking nerves. I can't just disavow David Grush just because he says that there's UFOs in the UFO office. The claims directly contradict Grush's previous description of his government roles, vetted by both the House Oversight Committee and media, that he served as the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency lead on UFOs, reporting to AARO until April this year. Kilpatrick, who claims that at the UFO office they never talk about UFOs and don't acknowledge UFOs, is also lying about Grush's role, saying he was nothing to do do with it because the Oversight Committee have already vetted the claims and found them to be plausible, reasonable, and true, and that the matter should be addressed with some urgency. Kilpatrick's talking about David Grush like he was an ex-girlfriend. I never liked David Grush. He was bad in bed. He was lazy. He always left stuff on his side, on the floor. He never cleared up. I never said you could keep a toothbrush in there. I hate you, Grush, and I've never loved you. Kilpatrick, in a personal statement, yeah, all his statements are personal. He's living on mad, giddy emotion. Reportedly posted on his LinkedIn page. Page. Newly single, and you better believe I'm ready to mingle, David Grush, although not with UFOs because they ain't real. In a personal statement on his LinkedIn page, slammed the hearing, saying he was deeply disappointed.
Well, none of my appointments showed up.
He's an emotional lunatic, Kilpatrick, isn't he? You never even worked here, David Grush, and UFOs are definitely not real. Now get this lightsaber out of here! I cannot let yesterday's hearing pass without sharing how insulting it was to the officers of the Department of Defense and Intelligence community. He wrote, the guy's running on pure.
Yeah, no, I had 3 people scheduled to be here at 1 o'clock, and none of them showed up. So I got one more that's going to be coming in closer to 3 o'clock, but that's it. So I said, fuck it.
Emotion, working in the UFO office, denying the existence of UFOs and treating former employees like they're lovers that jilted him at the altar. Among Grush's eye-popping claims at Wednesday's hearing were suggestions the government may have been involved in murder while covering up its alleged UFO secrets. So it's quite serious stuff being alleged here. Grush told lawmakers that he was scared for his own life after becoming a whistleblower. Well, we all know that whistleblowers are generally treated with a good deal of respect and don't end up regularly homeless and vilified in the mainstream media. Let's have a look at some of those congressional hearings.
We begin with that historic UFO hearing on Capitol Hill today, as we just said, the bipartisan push for transparency.
Oh, bipartisan, that's good news. Everyone could just get along and buy each other a Coca-Cola. Whenever both parties come together, it means only one thing. We're all agreed that we want more money. It's always that.
What are these unidentified objects? Where did they come from? And are we alone?
I think what you've not understood there is the word unidentified.
Take a listen. Here are some of the key highlights from that hearing.
I was informed.
Yeah, Jeremy Corbell, shout out.
In the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
The controller told us that these objects had been observed for over 2 weeks, coming down from over 80,000 feet, rapidly descending to 20,000 feet, hanging out for hours, and then going straight back up. For those who don't realize, above 80,000 feet is space.
It says that Tic Tac was far beyond current tech. Oh, they don't mean ordinary Tic Tacs. My God, it's sweet, it's sour. There's so many of them in here. This is blowing my mind. What's that in the sky? Nothing. Get out of my UFO office. How dare you even point up there? These are delicious, though.
Tic Tac, sir? We arrived at the location at approximately 20,000 feet, and the controller called merge plot, which means that our radar blip is now in the same resolution cell as the contact.
Obviously, something extraordinary is going on and has been going on for some time. That's what I believe. And we shouldn't perhaps be surprised that how this phenomena is being reduced is the same way every miracle of technology and revelation is. Wow, the internet. We can all talk to each other from across the world. That means we could organize new communities. We could find people that we have common interests with. Why? We could set about projects to save the world together. It doesn't matter how unusual or strange you are. You'll be able to talk to someone who knows exactly how you feel. We could do that. Or also, we could spy on everyone, say everyone's a bastard and make everyone fight all the time, and create a climate of hatred, surveillance, and censorship. Oh, yeah, that's also possible, I suppose. So we shouldn't be surprised that the UFO phenomena, like there's lights in the sky, there's dizzying technology, this means that our interpretation of what God is, what prophets are, what life, biology, chemistry, the most rudimentary understanding of the universe has to be reevaluated, which we already know from quantum physics. All of the things that we consider to be static amount to little more than local customs in our particular dimension, on our particular plane of reality. This is just obviously evidence of that. Instead of recognizing that what we have here is an opportunity to reevaluate our philosophy and our approach to life at a time when it's bloody needed because there's wars and fracture all over the place. Instead, it's just like, can we use this to keep our existing system going and, in fact, yet more profitable for the very people and institutions that have proven to be utterly corrupt? Yeah, I suppose we could say that these intergalactic beings are kind of like Putins, space Putins, and that we should kill those bastards before they cancer shit all over our civilization. I like it.
All 4 of us, because we were an F-18F, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down a small white Tic Tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water. Like
ticky-tack object.
Stop using stupid things. Tic-tac, ping-pong. It's like a ding-dong, a tic-tac. Use sensible space words.
As we started clockwise towards the object, my Wizzo and I decided to go down and take a closer look at the other aircraft staying in high cover to observe both us and the tic-tac. We proceeded around the circle about 90 degrees from the start of our descent, and the object
I do have the speed
shifted its longitudinal axis, aligned it with my aircraft, and began to climb. We consumed 270 degrees toward, and we went nose low to where the Tic Tac would have been. Our altitude at this point was about 15,000 feet, and the Tic Tac was about 12,000.
You're saying Tic Tac too much. You're going to have to think of another word for it, because it's ruining the whole hearing. Okay, one way we could undermine this intergalactic technologically advanced species is by referring to their vehicles after sweeties. One of them was a little bit like a Tic Tac. Another one was a little bit like a Jim Jam. They were like sort of Cheetos in the sky, like sort of, they smelled very vaguely of cheese. When we touched them, you got orange dust on your hands. That's why I don't trust them.
As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared.
I noticed that one corner of the spacecraft contained like a fruity jelly, and you could tip it into
to the main one. They had like Lucky Charms. There's lots of spacecraft that was just little circles like Cheerios, but every so often there was like a pink one or a green one, and those ones were sweeter.
Our wingmen, roughly 8,000 feet above us, lost contact also. We immediately turned back to see where the whitewater was at, and it was gone also. So as we started to turn back towards the east, the controller came up and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cap point, roughly 60 miles away in less than a minute."
I bit the end off of it, and then inside it was a delicious cream. And I sucked it out of it. It's like a Sky Twinkie.
During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, 2 F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft.
These days describing things a bit more the scientific way. Cubes, spheres, geometric, Pythagoras. That's what we want. Not like,
it's like a bag of potato chips in there, but you could pour your own yogurt.
Making it like childhood nostalgia snacks. Like that guy don't have to ever describe alien corpses.
There's a lot like Big Bird, thick, long, yellow feathers, and then there's one like Mr. Snuffleupagus. Two of them, even though they were the same gender, lived together, and it made me think, you know, maybe like that we could all just live together regardless of what sex we are. Are you describing Sesame Street right now? No, I remember them saying out the window, "Can you tell me how to get..." No, that you're sorry, that wasn't.
Impact deployment.
It's estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter.
Yes.
The mission commander terminated the flight immediately and returned to base. Our squadron submitted a safety report, but there was no.
The second shift is shut down until next Wednesday. They're having some.
Soon these encounters became so frequent that aircrew would discuss the risk of UAP as part of their regular pre-flight briefs.
Yeah, I wanted to get it out to you as soon as you can before you start heading out that way.
And in a way,
enjoy your long weekend.
I know that those of you knew that this will be used to leverage greater budgets, and plainly you're right about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Here's what's happening. But I also think you have to remain open to the possibility that this is real, just on the ordinary basis that we are in a limitless expanse of space and we only understand reality through our own sensory instruments and the magnification of our own sensory instruments. And it's entirely possible that there are entities that are interdimensionally distinct from us. And these descriptions are the kind of things that were kept out of the public eye for a long time for a reason, because the natural questions to start asking yourself are ontological ones about the nature of being. Wait a minute, if we're not alone in the universe, what is the veracity of all of our existing power structures? You know what I mean? It's pretty fundamental. You start saying, why should we have centralized top-down government? Why should we have nation states? Everything now is open for question. What it exposes is the capriciousness of culture. That culture is not arbitrary because it's evolved based on sort of principles that are as close to universal as we might be able to conceptualize and understand. But we should be willing to reevaluate things that are not working. Are there things that are not working? Yeah, we seem to be in this sort of mad ongoing culture war. People want to censor us and surveil us. People have been turned against each other. There are literal wars going on. There are plainly elites that are cooperating at an international level. There's deep state corruption. Right, good. We've agreed on that, haven't we? So is it possible that we could really change stuff? Oh no, this is just how things have to be. No, because there's fucking space aliens. Everything's open now. Or if not space aliens, refreshing, delicious, minty snacks flying around the world.
Yeah, they are delicious. It makes you wonder if, you know, maybe I could eat an oniony sandwich with some bologna or whatever, and then straight away eat a Tic Tac after that and carry over my day. So many questions.
The majority of witnesses are commercial pilots at major airlines.
Can't give you one.
Often they are veterans with decades of flying experience.
You can have
that. Reporting UAP at altitudes that appear above them at 40,000 feet, potentially in low Earth orbit or in the gray zone below the Kármán line.
This guy, they should have put him on first because he's really taking all the joy out of it. He's making it sort of boring, isn't he? One guy makes it boring, the other one makes it ridiculous. Like one turns them into sort of snacks from yesteryear. The other one makes it so mathematical, I'm sort of switching off.
Making inexplainable maneuvers like right-hand turns and retrograde orbits or J-hooks. If everyone could see the sensor and video data I witnessed, our national conversation would change.
He makes an important point. He's basically saying this is what you want from any witness, really. If you knew what I have seen, then you would regard reality entirely differently. What's masterful about the way this is being conceptualized, framed, and contained is we're keeping it to a sort of a debate around mechanics and technology and public defense and national security, when really what we've been invited to do is to push beyond our understanding of reality. And that's obviously what's required at the most basic level. If you want to change the world, you can't go, we're going to change the world, but only like this. That's what contemporary politics offers you. You can have this one or this one, and the undergirding remains unaltered. What a story like this could do is invite us to go, hang on a minute, everything's different from how we thought it was. So should we start looking at how we might differently organize society? The answer is, of course, yes.
I urge us to put aside stigma and address the security and safety issue this topic represents. If UAP are foreign drones, it is an urgent national security problem. If it is something else, it is an issue for science.
So that's an interesting conclusion. If it's drones, it's a matter of national security, therefore give us some more money. If it's not drones, then it's a matter of science. But beyond science, a massive philosophical and contemplative change, a new Weltanschauung, a new look at reality, a new understanding of what the world and obviously plainly universe we live in actually is. So it's not surprising it's being framed in this way. It's not surprising that it's being reduced to a sort of a military matter, because ultimately this is beyond the outer reaches of control as we could understand control. Like this is not Russia or China, massive opponents that could potentially annihilate even a vast country like the United States. This is about intergalactic power. It's by its nature beyond our conception, beyond our understanding. But that's precisely where we need to go. So this is of course a matter for science, but it's also a matter for philosophy. And I mean that on an individual level, because what I believe in is that your individual freedom and your individual understanding is what influences the flow of world power. Not currently with the institutions that we have and the structures that we have, but with the introduction of information like this, it invites us to view reality differently. And you know what I'm talking about. New individual power, new community power, and new understanding of the way that we view the most immersive and ubiquitous structures could change. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the chat. See you in a second.
No, here's the fucking news.
I know you. You'd like to drop those leftover pandemic pounds that you put on during the pandemic because you were sad inside because of the pandemic. But how sick are you also of all the ads for weight loss pills and fad diets that probably don't even work anyway and might make your feet change colour? I've been there. I've done that. They don't work. They're a con. They're a trick. It's skullduggery. Do you know what actually works? Eating 5 healthy servings of fruit and vegetables every single day. But who among us has time to prepare that every single day? This brings us around to Field of Greens. Field of Greens is a science-backed formula of specific fruits and vegetables you won't find in any other product. Proper nutrition reboots your metabolism so you can burn calories faster and lose weight a healthier way. And Field of Greens is the only brand backed by a fair health promise. Yes, you'll look and feel healthier fast, but the greater proof comes at your next checkup when the doctor goes, whatever you're doing, keep it up. Okay, let's get started with 15% off your first order. Visit BrickHouseRussell.com, promo code brand. That's BrickHouseRussell.com, promo code brand. And now let's go back to that deep, intelligent piece of media critique analysis that you were just watching.
A world where even the glorious potential that life on other planets can be used to create opportunity for warmongering. What a world we live in. What a corrupt and despicable world. Football's not like that. Football is nice.
Football's nice.
Hello and welcome to Football is Nice with Russell Brand and Gareth Roy. We've got Mark Goldbridge on the show a little bit later, host of the Manchester United YouTube channel, The United Stand. We're going to be looking at him becoming increasingly enraged as Manchester United fail to materialise, nearly materialise, dematerialise. They're an ontological entity that are even beyond physics at times. This is Premier League Eve. We stand on the precipice of a new season. New dramas will unfold. New heroes will be minted. New villains forged. Will it be VAR that defines this season, or will it be the 100-minute game? Is that the scandal that we have yet to taste on, in my case, my sweet velvety lips, and in the case of Gareth Roy, actually, they're quite nice lips as well. Never really looked at them before. Thanks for joining us, Gareth, for this part of your job.
Thank you so much, Russell.
Nice for you to be here.
Yep.
What do you think about 100-minute games?
Yeah, is the new talking point. Will they have sorted out the handball rule? Will be the other one, right? You know, they always talk about the handball rule.
It's a bit like the Donald Trump
Goody
case.
goos.
Did you know that you were going to touch that ball with your hand? Is that a natural position for your mind to be in? So is that what it is? Has it changed?
I don't know, but you know, there's a lot of talk of it last season, and pundits kind of saying they'll sort it out.
They'll
next
sort
season.
that out next season. Like,
They'll have to. They'll have to.
Like, they have to be. You meant to do that with your hand. It can't be that it brushes. What I know for sure is, however they manoeuvre that rule, it will penalise West Ham in some way. Like with offside, and like what I remember from last season, the early part, we were about to equalise through your man Jared Bowen against Chelsea. He scored a goal that just should have been allowed, and it was disallowed for really weird reasons. Like, it don't even make sense to be anymore. Like, flattered into, you know, that lad that. I mean, Chelsea sold and bought this season.
How many players have they bought and sold? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Is it? It's been a real merry-go-round.
Ridiculous. I don't know.
Unrecognisable.
I don't know how I would feel as a Chelsea fan. Exactly that. The team is unrecognisable. I mean, when you change, I mean, it feels like almost their entire team has changed.
It's not the same. It's not the same manager. It's not the same board. The stadium's changed. What is it you're shouting at? What exactly is it you support in there? It's like, it's
I got a person each, and
increasingly abstract.
I
suppose this is we're about to make a broad appraisal of the season here. We're about to talk about who we reckon is going to win. Is anyone going to say anyone other than City? We're going to talk about top four. We talk about relegation and talk about who might come up. We could sort of take broad stabs at things.
Are you excited about it? I'm excited.
No, because we still ain't bought anyone at all. The people that we are likely to buy are people I don't want. I want that lad Alvarez out of Ajax. I don't know much about him, except he's good.
You like his name, don't you?
Alvarez.
And you like the Ajax thing?
Ajax. Alvarez of Ajax.
Yes.
That's double A.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
if that was a battery, you'd buy it. But like, I'm worried about McTominay and I'm worried about Maguire.
Right.
I'm worried about the MU Mux.
I'm just worried about the kind of 2-for-1 aspect with that deal. It seems
2-for-1 doesn't usually represent anything other than a bargain that's based on quantity over quality. You know, one? Yeah. What about two? I suppose that is more. Here are these two underperforming, uninspiring, somewhat expensive. Now, McTominay is intermittently good.
I would say so. And for Scotland, incredible. Absolutely incredible. He's been amazing for Scotland. And for United, you could argue he hasn't had the chances, especially last year. But I do think that he's a good player. And obviously, as a Hull supporter, I like Maguire of a few years ago. But I don't know what will have happened.
And even
to him.
Leicester Maguire, and even Easter Island Head Maguire. All of those versions of Maguire we all like. And Maguire, I don't look. Do you know what? I always think of them as human beings because that is, of course, what they are. And I try not to be like a right little bastard and sort of criticise people. But I was hoping for Harvey Barnes, Newcastle. I was hoping for James Ward-Prowse. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, they're saying it's too much money. Well, you can get both. You can get both of these players for the same money.
You can get what, Maguire and McTominay.
I think you would do Freeman.
I would like, but can we just have James Ward and the Prowse? We'll get in a few years if it works out. You know, like, I'd rather break them down they're double-barreled names, and like, I don't know about that. It's also as well, like as a West Ham player, it feels I would prefer the excuse me fan. I prefer Jesus Christ, the ego. I prefer the feeling of sucking people up out of the Championship.
I bet you do.
I'll suck them up, I'll hoover them up my sinuses, rather than the feeling of people tumbling
downwards.
down. I don't think we've had many good signings like that.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of any actually.
No, and the one player who it looked like would make that move was Lingard when he had that fantastic
season. He should have done for himself.
He really should have done. Now he's left Forest, I think.
Even that. What's next? Galatasaray tends to be the next move after that. And it's like now a Turkish giant for Fenerbahce was good when they have that derby. It's ever such a seething atmosphere. Well, if you want to see an atmosphere, go anywhere in England because you've betrayed us all. That didn't work out. I'm just trying to think of when we get we have had from Jimmy Greaves to Ian Wright to Liam Brady, we've had post Clive Allen, we've had post peak stars throughout our history. But it's always better when it's when I think of the great players like Payet, Afind, the Canyo, and even more latterly the likes of Jared or Antonio.
I guess it's what does it suggest your club is? As in, is it finding, as you say, players from around the globe that kind of, which suggests that you have a great scouting network? Was it plucky, great players from
Jack
the Championship?
Wilshere, Lundberg. Whenever we take them lot off Arsenal in decline, it's not a good use of money. It doesn't
paint you in a great light as a club, I
don't think so. But this is what I worry about is the pathology of Moyes. I feel like David Moyes, because of his own wounding at United, might sort of think, I can take other poor wounded souls from Man U. And these are all things we can talk to Mark Goldbridge about because he's an expert in all of these players. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Mate, what do you want to talk about in your podcast? It seems like we've got a new title sequence from Bad Graphics Jack, as well as a host of topics to talk about. And I think, shall we have a look at Bad Graphics Jack? Is this for our predictions?
Probably should.
Predictions. This here says that Trump. This is interesting. It says that Trump's legal team consists of a selection of Wayne Rooneys. That's pretty amazing. God, that is good. Donald Trump. This in American football news. Donald Trump is supported entirely by Wayne Rooney's at different embryonic phases. There's late Rooney to Trump's left. There's classic current Rooney immediately to the right of Trump. And then there's the thinking man's Rooney just at the edge of frame there. And also Munch's scream just above Trump's shoulder there as a sort of a nice addition. That's a bold courtroom artist right there.
It really is.
That's absolutely captured you, that, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, well, Rooney is interesting, isn't it? Because he's managing apparently very well at the moment with his big beard. Is he MLS or
China,
Toronto or
America?
one of those? I think it's America or Canada that he's at and apparently doing very well.
Aren't people worried that Saudi Arabia's transfer window stays open too long and Premier League players are going to get hoovered out in the 100th minute, the 115th minute of play? You'll suddenly see Mo Salah galloping off to Saudi.
Because they're seemingly unable, DC United it is, Rooney. They're seemingly unable to do anything about it. I mean, Liverpool was reading that Klopp wanted to keep Henderson, but just the lure of that money was just too much,
People were ever so upset about Henderson,
they
weren't
were.
they? The thing is with glorious money is that you can sort of persuade yourself almost anything. Like sort of Jordan Henderson would have gone from being an avid supporter of LGBTQ plus issues in the World Cup to thinking, that is so much money. I'm not ever going to have to do anything again. And we sort of say, oh, come on, mate, you're getting a lot of money
357.
Anyway.
Welcome.
But
it's all relative.
So much money that you're going to get there. Probably you get favourable tax arrangements out there in Saudi as well.
Sorry,
I mean,
I'm working
who
too.
Can say? Is there a lower league team in Saudi Arabia that would take me as a sort of a player manager?
Shit, we got enough people here for poker
streaming platform.
They've not yet offered us anything. People sort of ask sometimes, would you do stand up in sort of nations like that?
And the answer is we would.
Can you please just send the offers and we'll find a way of morally justifying it to ourselves retrospectively.
Need a producer?
David, I will, yeah. David Foster Wallace, he goes, when talking about John McCann's incarceration subsequent to his capture in Vietnam, that of course his plane crashed in a swamp. He was captured by Viet Cong, had his arms broken, was stabbed with a bayonet in the groin, and then when he was taken to the prisoner of war camp, he was offered early release because they found out that he was a high up, and indeed his relatives in the McCann family were like part of the Admiralty. Yes, McCain. I'm talking about oven chips.
I thought so.
You're right.
Very similar.
These are very reasonable chips, and for us 20 minutes in the oven. Sorry, that whole beginning of that was meant to be about oven chips and also Die Hard. No, John McCain, is who I mean. Anyway, when it came to the release, they wanted to release him as part of a bargaining deal because they thought they'd get loads of prisoners for him. But the Geneva Convention plus, I don't know, protocols of the US military dictate that prisoners should be released in the order that they were captured. And McCain refused to be released out of sequence. They we want to release you now, mate. And he said, no, I'm staying. You've got to release all this lot first. So John McCain, whether you agreed with his politics or not, had morals, and he didn't. And why I'm mentioning this now is because David Foster Wallace, in an essay about this, said, imagine yourself in that situation, the excuses you would use to accept that deal. You go, I may be taking this deal, but I will dedicate my life to releasing other prisoners. And in fact, in the long run, this will work out better for them because I will use my time and influence. So then he goes, imagine the things you'd remember, the smell of your wife's hair, and all these things. He goes, so whatever you think about John McCain, he's a person who in that situation did that. So that's why ethics and morality.
Although, to be fair, Stephen Gerrard would never want to sign John McCain.
Not certainly not in goal because he couldn't lift his arms above his head due to the torture that he received during that period. And but I suppose when you see people wear rainbow laces or a badge or an armband or take the knee or whatever, the charge that exists in our culture now is that these gestures of virtue signaling, as it's commonly known, are actions undertaken without cost or consequence. Like the real sacrifice and real activism, if you think of I don't know, Gandhi, and it seems perhaps a little unfair to compare Jordan Henderson to Mahatma Gandhi, perhaps the greatest civil rights leader in history. And
a hell of a right back.
I mean, he wouldn't track back, Gandhi, and he had no gas for the overlap. Gandhi, track back! I will not track back. I suppose that's what it does to you, isn't it? It's like that when it comes to it. If we were to talk to Jordan Henderson, it'd go, oh, bloody hell.
I think it's unfair, I have to say.
You to say, let people do it.
I think all of this stuff that gets labelled at footballers, I mean, again, bit of a trope and a cliche now to say this, but it is one of those, few areas where working class people can earn a lot of money. And it's one of the
few areas where working class people can prop up a corrupt regime. Just let them.
But there are so many awful things going on in the world.
You've got cherry picking. I mean, I actually agreed in the end with, say, Simon Jordan's analysis of the Qatar World Cup. Like, hang on. I mean,
absolutely.
What are they doing really that's any worse than stuff we either do or have done? You can't. If you're going to make these arguments with any sincerity, let's get ready to dismantle the machinery of capitalism and start building ecologically friendly, anarcho-syndicalist, decentralized tribes. And given that no one's doing that, you might as well not criticize Jordan Henderson.
And Jordan Henderson is definitely not getting paid more than America are making selling arms to Saudi Arabia.
So what's the real issue here? And or the way that Raytheon and Lockheed Martin are profiting from the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia, which is still posed as a moral crusade in a kind of cake and eat it capitalist sort of orgy of profit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, hold on, I had one more thing to say about this that was pretty good, and I think was going to be the real sort of really seal the deal in either direction. Yeah, I think so. I think I was going to seal it once and for all, but I don't know. Should we go to Mark Goldbridge yet? All right, let's have a look at these prediction title sequence. I've still got one more point. Bad Graphics Jack has been doing the thing. Have a look at it. He always does that.
He does.
He always does things like where there's a sort of real sting in the tail, doesn't he, Bad Graphics Jack? He also has the sort of energy of Saturday morning TV from 1997, doesn't it? Everything's like something that would introduce Trevor and Simon on Live and Kicking.
That's a reference.
There, look it up. Well, what predictions are we going to make? Should we make a prediction?
Okay.
I'll make a prediction. I mean, there's no point predicting anything except for total domination of Manchester City, is there?
No, I would suggest not.
Because they bought two players, they improve them, haven't they? I mean, they let go of a couple of people that they wanted to let go of.
Gundogan's gone, hasn't he? So and he obviously got them a lot of who's amazing for them.
Scored a very nice goal in the cup final. I wonder if Mark Goldbridge saw that. I'm not sure if he did. And Mahrez, that don't matter.
Well, they've always
They just bought back they bought some centre back who looks tasty.
They're from Leipzig, apparently.
And what Kovacic?
Kovacic from Chelsea, another smart signing at 25 million, I think they got him for.
How are you going to say Gvardiol? Is that out?
Just did.
Do you think that they got him because his name's a bit like Guardiola?
I think they did, yeah.
Do you know I like Guardiola? What about Gvardiol? Close enough. Get him in.
No, City, surely, again. And obviously, they could still buy a few more players. I think Kyle Walker's agreed to stay, I read today, which is good for them. He was very good last season, Kyle Walker.
Why don't Man United buy someone like bloody Harry Kane? It's no good him going to Bayern Munich. That's boring.
Well, that's because they refused to sell him to Man United, which is I understand. Levy's no.
That's one of their main people they like to sell people to.
Yeah, I know.
They like to sell them Teddy Sheringham and Berbatov. This is exactly like that.
But I think they're in positions where they had to before, whereas in the Kane situation, they
sell him to Germany.
Yeah, although apparently that's not even happened. He's really digging his heels in. Well, he's a master negotiator, as we know.
One thing we all know about Daniel Levy, for some reason, is he is a master negotiator. Distinct from all other chair people.
Yep.
Weird, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
What is he doing in there? Is he just it can only be, people go, listen, we'll give you 100 million for Harry Kane, even though he's only got a year left in his contract. And he goes, no.
Yeah.
That's it. That's not master. That's just he's obstreperous and oppositional.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyone can just say no to things, except Zamo. I'm really trapped in the 80s.
Really
I am. I can't
Really
get
are.
out of the 1980s.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
I don't know, mate.
What
I don't
is
know.
it?
It's fine though. So yeah. So are we doing predictions of winners?
All right, Man City win.
Obviously, we're
Is it,
saying Man City.
like, who's going to come second? Are you going to say Chelsea? Are you going to say Arsenal?
Arsenal won the Shield. Okay? I mean, I know that's never an indication. I think like one team who won the Shield has won the Premier League in the last 10 years or something. So that's not an indication that Arsenal will be winners this season.
Community Shield.
I know.
It's a funny thing, isn't it?
So
The Community Shield.
Yeah.
What community? They give a bit of money to charity out
Yes,
the back
that's
of it,
what
do they?
happens.
They're loving it though. Look, aren't they? They're really they're pleased to have that shield.
Well, it's become like a big thing. It didn't used to be all that big, did it? The Community Shield.
Where's Declan Rice?
Oh.
Did he not go?
Oh, Trouble in Paradise.
He went. Did he play?
Yeah, he did play. Played the old game.
What numbers he wear? 8.
I don't get all
No, it's
sad
just
over.
a funny number.
No, I can
It's not
see.
a number that I think would suit
Oh,
him.
he's not over it, is he?
I am over it.
He's
I'm
not.
glad he's gone. I wanted him to go. I'm pleased. I'm pleased that we sold him, and I'm even more pleased that we've not signed anyone to replace him. Those seem like good decisions.
You're getting Harry Maguire. Stop complaining.
I don't want Harry Maguire. You can have a Scott McTominay for that. I don't want Scott McTominay neither.
I did see a tweet that said that West Ham were going to either buy the pair for 40 million or McTominay on his own for 42.
I love that joke like that, don't you? It's a right out of order.
It's so out of order. So out of order. Poor Harry Maguire. Yeah. Predictions?
Let's get Mark Goldbridge
Yes,
on. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's doing really well. People love him. Let's have a look at a few examples of Mark Goldbridge taking it real bad that he's a Man United fan, and Man United fan won't do what it's supposed to do and what it used to do, win football games easily.
1, 2, 3. Everybody go. Go City. Let's do it for our history. Look, Man City have gone long ball already there. Flicked into Haaland. Oh, my God. 15 seconds in. Oh, fucking hell. I'm gone. I'm finished. No. 7 fucking 0. 1-0. It's fucking 1-0. That's horrible. It's like walking on your parents having sex. That midfield has got the positional sense of a blindfolded slug trying to find a Mars bar at a Weight Watchers convention. And it's 2-2. Back in. Game on. Let's go again. They're on the attack here. You can sod off meowing as well, you bloody Arsenal fan.
Mark, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
What's it been like to transition from that period of success into, let's call it, a rather more turbulent period as a United fan? Is that a very painful thing? Have there been brief moments of respite and joy within it, or has it been a real grind?
I think I read somebody say a few years ago that you've got to appreciate the fact that we had so much
Kim Leach, thanks for the like.
And swings and roundabouts, and now it's a period of bad times that you've just got to put up with. But that's like being rich for 20 years and then living in a tent in a forest, isn't it? I mean, you don't have to go, this is acceptable. The serious answer is, the club has been run badly and never should have fell as far as it has from the tree. But I'll be honest, it is quite humbling, because obviously under Sir Alex, it was every year you expected to win things, whereas now you can sort of appreciate the fact that the reality football is that there's a lot of fans out there that don't have success as well. So yeah, it's funny. It's quite funny watching those clips back, because it is just utter despair that most fans probably have for 99% of their lives.
Yeah, it's striking as well, because I think the quality that it has, just watching it analytically, is people enjoy watching authentic content, and you can see that you allow yourself to have natural reactions to the frustration and disappointment that being a Man United fan has latterly included. Now, let's talk a little bit, mate, about Maguire and McTominay. How are Man United going to cope with the loss of such significant skeletal figures that are holding together the framework of that club? How do you actually feel about the departure of them players? And also, do you think that Ten Hag's going in the right direction? And what kind of appointments are required to get United anywhere near where they need to be to challenge City? Is Højlund going to be enough? Just give us an overview from those potential West Ham departures all the way up to Højlund, if you can, mate.
Yeah, well, look, I know you're a West Ham fan, Russell, so I'm very careful of who might be watching in the higher up corridors of West Ham, of what I truthfully say about Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay, because I think they would be very good signings for West Ham, and I think there's good value in going up to maybe 70 million for the pair. But no, look, Scott McTominay's an interesting one. I've never been a massive fan of his, in the sense that I don't think he's a first-team player for Manchester United, but I think playing regularly, I do think he would be a suitable player for a West Ham or an Everton type thing. I know type thing. What does that mean? Yeah, he'd be a good midfielder for a West Ham. But no, I think but Harry Maguire is probably the more interesting one.
Yeah,
I mean,
Gas just said $4
West Ham
here.
fans don't want these players. I'm trying to talk them up a little bit. But
I'm
Harry
weighing
Maguire is
399.
an England centre back. He's not a Manchester United centre back, but he's an England centre back. And I think I was listening to what you said before. I think David Moyes and his ex-Manchester United journey might be what he's looking at here. I've done well at West Ham, and maybe these players can do well at West Ham. Look, I think they would do well. I can't believe we rejected £30 million for Scott McTominay. I don't know. I heard you saying earlier about how he plays well for Scotland, but it amazes me that United would reject £30 million for him, because I just don't know where that value has come from. Rasmus Højlund, I really like. That's the sort of thing that Manchester United should be doing. We did this a few years ago. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo would be the most obvious choice.
And Matt, I sent you an invite for community manager from Facebook.
Become a great player. Manchester United over the last decade, talking about failure, have sort of fallen into this trap of spending a lot of money on other people's players, whether it be Di Maria or Pogba or trying to think, Anthony, etc. Whereas I think with Højlund, I like the idea of, it's a bit like the Brighton way. Everyone loves the Brighton way. You buy a player that's well scouted, that's not quite there yet, and then they develop at your football club. Manchester United should be doing more of that. And I think that's something that Erik ten Hag is looking to bring as a developmental coach, rather than a Jose Mourinho wants to get the players ready and do it now. I think Manchester United fans are always welcome to a manager that wants to build something over a period of time for a longer period of time.
Do you feel that these kind of changes are going to be sufficient to make you competitive, or do you feel that we're just getting deeper and deeper into an era of Man City supremacy? And I suppose the most, in a way, obvious question and the defining question is that with clubs like City and Newcastle having the level of investment that they now have, are we going to see a new tier emerge in top flight English football that sort of can't be penetrated by expertise and the financial models that preceded these, in particular those two?
Well, I was listening to what you were both saying about Jordan Henderson, and I suppose that's the way football's gone. If you'd said to me 3 or 4 years ago that United would be in pole position to be acquired by Qatar, I would be, I don't really want that. I don't like that model. Man City have had that model. I don't like it. But where we are now, I'd say there's many a football fan who will agree with this, that if you want to be successful, so therefore in your lifetime, if you want to see your football club win trophies, then I don't see how it's possible without that level of, unreserved wealth that the likes of Man City and Saudi Arabia with Newcastle have. So, I mean, look, Pep Guardiola has built a team over a number of years where he can say, I don't like that goalkeeper, I don't like that right back, I'll get a new one. He's a fantastic coach as well, because they've acquired the best coach in the world. They've acquired a brilliant structure around him in relation to recruitment and coaching, the infrastructure around Man City in relation to training facilities. It's all bought and it's all high level. And I think that if you want to compete with that, and I'd love to see teams compete with that, I don't think you can without that sort of investment.
One of my favorite sniper rifles.
We're at the critical point, I think, of either regulation or embrace the fact that it's a financial free-for-all, isn't it? You either got to ban that and sort of introduce meaningful financial regulation of, like, you can only spend this, wages can only be that, but I would prefer regulation at the point of purchase. What do you think, Al?
It's really interesting what you say there about infrastructure, because it's something that isn't spoken about that much. Take Man United as an example. They've spent an awful lot of money over the last few years and yet haven't really had much to show for it at all. In fact, you'd say that money's been badly spent in many a case. And then you look at Man City, obviously have spent a lot of money themselves, but it feels like in terms of an infrastructure, they've got something so solid that no one else is kind of competing with. You look at, like, Newcastle are trying to implement something similar, and it feels like that's as important as the money that you're spending on players, that you have to, that what comes with that Saudi money or that Qatar money, whatever it is an infrastructure that's kind of unmatched, and that feels like that's your future route to dominating this league for the next 5 years. Do you think that infrastructure is something that isn't maybe spoken about as much as the more eye-catching headlines around player transfers?
I think the modern football fan is probably more aware of it than I was when I was younger. I mean, look, growing up in the late 80s, it was teletext. I had no idea who played for Bayern Munich, etc. And I think when you look at the Brightons and the Brentfords of the Premier League, their success isn't a coincidence. It's based on scouting systems that other big clubs are now trying to replicate that will take them a couple of years. So I think that the structure is massively important. And at Newcastle, as soon as they were taken over, I think they went and took the head of development from Brighton. So you can have money, and you're right, Manchester United, I think even the CEO was caught saying 12 months ago that what we've spent in the last 10 years, you walk into Carrington, the training ground, and you go, where did it get spent? So I think Manchester City and Newcastle, not only are they rich, but they look at every level of the football club, from youth to recruitment to fitness, and spend on the best. And that's why you end up there, because anybody can walk. I mean, look at Chelsea last year, spent ridiculous money. Heart's in the right place of Todd Boehly, but just wasted a load of money and ends up having to rebuild a club in the summer again.
Mark, I want to include you in our predictions game for 6 games over the weekend. I've drawn, quite accurately there next to our disembodied heads. That's my portrait of you. The first game, we've all got to make predictions. Now, I make my predictions in a very immediate, reflexive way, and they're regularly incorrect. Gareth is more ponderous and likes to really sort of take it seriously, annoyingly so, almost. And anyway, I'd like to invite you to participate in these predictions. So the first game is Burnley v City. If you get the result correct, it's 1 point.
Yes.
If you get the score exactly correct, then it's 3 points. That's how our system works. It's quite complex. This could
Where'd you
become
read
new fantasy
that?
football. In fact, we should make ourselves rich from this. It just occurred to me there. It could be a thing. All right, I don't think you can own.
Pretty sure they were well on the way to do it until we started destroying a lot of their
Mark, what do you think?
I'm going to go 3-1 to.
That's why they put their rocket
Yeah,
stuff
right, then I'm going to go 4-0
underground.
City. What about you, Gal?
3-0.
3-0. Bournemouth, West Ham.
Mm.
Because that's at Bournemouth, isn't it? I'm going to go 2-1 away win for West Ham.
Thank you. I've gone 2-0 away win. What about you, Gal?
I'll go 1-1.
1-1. Damn you. Newcastle v Villa. Newcastle home.
Yeah, that'd be close, but I'll go with Newcastle's home form. I'll go 2-0 Newcastle.
2-0. Oh no, I'm going to say it's a surprising away win for some reason. And you've gone 2-0. You've gone home win. And what about you, Gal?
I'm going to go 3-2. I think they played each other in a friendly in pre-season. I think it was quite high scoring. Anyway.
Oh, he really thinks he's got all the data, doesn't he? Sam Allardyce.
It should be a really brilliant game, that, actually. I'm looking forward to it.
Brighton, Luton.
Oh,
come on, let's have Luton win their first game of the season away to Brighton. I'm going to say 1-0 to Luton. I'm voting with the heart. What about you, Goldbridge?
5-0 Brighton.
Fucking hell, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, go for it.
What about you, Gal?
I'll go 1-0 Brighton.
1-0 Brighton. Big game, that.
Yep.
I'm excited about Luton. I like the anomaly of Luton. Proper Kenilworth Road, crap stadium, fans that are, let's face it, a bit 1980s. It's going to be a fantastic season. All right, Chelsea, Liverpool, televised game.
Oh.
I think it's always been a contentious feature.
It'll probably be awful as a result. It'll probably be something like 0-0 or 1-1. Go on then. I'll go. I mean, I think
they can be slow, those
games. They cancelled
right.
each other out last season, but they were both awful last season.
Oh, like 0-0. I'm going to say 0-0.
Yeah,
drab crap.
Yeah, I'll go 1-1 then to make it different from you.
And what about you, Mark?
I'll go Liverpool away win 1-0.
Away win 1-0. Oh, and then from the Championship to humour, dear Gareth, Hull City versus Wednesday, Sheffield Wednesday, Hull City home.
I'll go 1-1. 1-1 for me as well.
1-1. We're allowed to say the same thing. I think Sheffield Wednesday are going to win. It's their first game. They came up in the playoffs, didn't they? And United, do you think United will beat Wolves on Monday night, Mark?
Yeah. I'll go 3-0 for that.
Mark saying 3-0. I'm going to say 2-0. And Gal?
3-1 United. I think Wolves are really going to struggle this season.
There you go. That's sorry for if you were listening or watching this, through that sort of tedious
Neil
process
deGrasse Tyson.
just contemplating numbers. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to talk to you again. I want to talk to you about how you went from being a police officer
some of his
to a
takes lately are
YouTube
pretty
star. I'd love
cringe.
to get into the sort of philosophical depths that only football can bring about. The whole point of our podcast is to engage in whimsy and philosophy. And on that note, why the hell are you in a Jamiroquai video?
Thanks for having me on, lads. Really enjoyed it. Love to do it again.
He's not going to tell us. He won't tell us. We'll never know. Next time. He's a mysterious man.
He's a space cowboy.
But will he ever return? Thank you so much for joining us. You can check Mark out on the United Stand on YouTube and follow him on Twitter at United Stand MUFC. That's all we got time for. Football is Nice will be back next week, and you can listen to our whole conversation on the Football is Nice podcast. Tomorrow's show, our special guest is entrepreneur and candidate in the 2024 Republican Party presidential primaries, Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm pretty excited to be speaking to Vivek. I want to talk to him about his policy around guns. I want to talk to him around his policy around war. I want to talk to him about how he has become a surprise stalking horse who could even overtake Ron DeSantis, former guest on our show, in the Republican primaries. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. Join us then, not for more of the same. We'd never insult you in none of that claptrap. No vile slops here, just precious jewels tumbling from on high. Join us tomorrow, not for more of the same, but for more of the different. Till then, stay free.
Number one.
How you doing? I'm conducting an investigation.
On?
What do you mean on?
Can I have any identification?
Can't bet. Bennington PD.
Oh, I need yours.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me?
You're not getting, dude. Don't you back off me, dude.
Oh, I'm not going to back off.
Here comes the ambulance. The ambulance is coming. Thanks, buddy. Real professional. Looks great for your company. I don't think I've ever gotten a double cam back at the same time. I have CRS, so I have to do this. CRS? Yeah, can't remember.
Don't think we have a Karen here, because otherwise I would have made a lot of jokes about that.
What's going on, everyone? This is Press NH Now over here today in Bennington, Vermont. Today we're going to be conducting a First Amendment audit to see if they respect our rights to film here in public. Today we're over at Command Composites. It's a government contractor facility for the military and supply for such branches of the government. They do have a lot of federal grants and taxes going in to this building for their supplies. And please make sure you go like, share, and subscribe to my channel at Press NH Now. I appreciate your support. Also check out my playlist to see some videos you might not have seen in the past. Hit that like button, let all your friends and family know about my activism in and around the New England area. Always check a description, all links will be included. Donations are greatly appreciated. They do help me continue my activism in and around the New England states. We're gonna get right to it here, guys. Enjoy the video. How you doing?
What are you doing?
So there's a fence here, but there's absolutely no sign stating no trespassing. Not that I'm going to be going onto the property anyway. You got a kid right there. Asked me what I was doing. It's quite obvious. Silly question. I think they mean to ask, why am I doing this? Not what am I doing? Got a whole line of people coming out. Appropriate people probably going on break. Looks like it's 10 o'clock break.
What do you mean? Somebody answered my poll on Facebook too, Matt. Accept your moderator status on Facebook.
What's going on?
Hey, Dan.
Community manager. You're there to make it a safe live stream.
She gonna do a cam back? Yep.
I won't let
Cam
me
back.
add Jerry.
Cam back. Look at them. Interesting. It's like their defense mechanism to cam back
Bring
you.
them up. The only people that pop up are inDOCtriNATION and you, Matt.
I'm looking for Karen. I wonder if that's her. All they're gonna get is the top of my head. Whatever subsides her feelings. Yeah, that's the smoking area.
Looking for somebody?
He's taking a picture. For what? That's the guy that was just walking by. You know if Karen works here?
Who?
Karen?
Karen.
I don't know her last name.
I don't think we have a Karen here.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have made a lot of jokes about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, it's relevant, but
Right.
yeah.
No, I have not.
Cool.
I have not heard. Are you trying to see if she works here?
Yeah.
or- Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not having.
That's all right. If you don't, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to bother you, man. Thank you. Well, another cam back.
No, I'm recording.
Oh no.
I don't know what he's doing.
Oh no, what do we do? Our only counterattack and defense is to do a comeback. That'll get him. That'll teach him. That'll get him out of here. Oh, another comeback. Huh. Yeah, that's how they want to spend their break.
Like all the folks out that way in the New England area are smokers. I get it. They're still stuck on the electric dick here. With me.
I don't think I've ever gotten a double cam back at the same time. Wonder how long they could stand there for. Oh, there's one down. Double D's Burgers and More. There's a food truck right behind me.
You want to know how old I am? I worked in an Army hospital, an active duty Army hospital. And the first year I was active duty, we could still smoke in the hospital. I mean, there was rooms for it, but you could still smoke in the hospital.
Interesting.
There's one on each floor. It was a smoking room.
He just put himself into the story.
Janich, thank you. Rumble. No, the O2 is built into the wall. It's like a locker room / smoking room. I mean, they turned it into just a locker room after the. I mean, it was just for like the first year I was there. It was like 90, right after I got back.
Police Association.
Like 91, 92.
Nice. There's a guy coming over here now. Good deal. No, I think I'm all set. Just trying to get a shot.
What are you filming?
I'm sorry?
What are you filming?
It's the building.
For?
What do you mean?
For what purpose?
I'm conducting an investigation.
On?
What do you mean on?
Can I have any identification?
Not at all. No. Can I have
You don't
yours?
have any?
Is it
You don't
Anthony?
have any?
I already got it.
All right, well, I need yours.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me?
You're not getting, dude. You back off me, dude.
Oh, I'm not going to back off.
All right, well.
You need to. I know the police have already been here. Now I'm going to get a no trespass.
Okay, great. They're not going to know who I am anyway.
So what are you doing?
It's none of your business, dude. Just go back to work.
No, it isn't.
No, I'm not even on your property.
You're filming our property.
Okay, from a public sidewalk.
Saying you're conducting an investigation.
Yeah.
So now it's my business.
Okay, well, they're going to get as much information as you are, which is none. I'm going to tell them the same thing I'm going to tell you. Oh. Who are you, like security or something? Oh, now you don't want to answer anything? I have CRS, so I have to do this. Yeah, can't remember shit, so I have to relive my life twice. Yeah, it's almost like the Truman Show. You ever see that? Yeah. Yeah. See you later. Bye, Anthony. You can't trespass me on a property I've never been on, stupid. I said you can't trespass somebody who's never been on your property. Yeah, I am. Yeah, because you think you have authority over me to ask me for my ID. Yeah, how'd that work out, buddy?
It's a meanie head.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Heating up now, boys and girls. Oh, is that no trespass order? So we'll wait for them to come if they do, and we'll go from there. Are you dropping off?
And Oh, Ray.
Just dropped something off
No
on the
guy
truck
on Ray.
on the front tire. He's in the doorway right there. I wonder if he did actually call the police. I'm curious to see what they said. I haven't heard them on the radio yet. Oh, another cam back. It's like 3 or 4 cam backs already. It's funny, they probably have a policy on their site stating they're not supposed to take pictures or video on their property. And here they are telling me that I can't from a public sidewalk. The irony and the logic behind all this is incredible.
One less thing.
Bennington PD. Interesting. See if they turn back around.
Well, the
I
ones
didn't
that
hear
cut
anything on the
grass
radio, so
for free
we'll see.
on the super long. I've been getting a lot of like suggested of those videos. Maybe I've watched a couple of them, so I'm stuck in a hole with
Somebody in
them.
the doorway right there. Oh, here comes the ambulance. The ambulance is coming. Huh. Keeps looking back. I know they called. Can you call Anthony for me? Can you call Anthony for me? Anthony.
All right.
Oh, nice. Hey. Thanks, buddy. Real professional. What's great for your company? Oh, real nice for your company, bud. Sun must be real bright. Incredible. Hey, real nice for your company, bud. Real nice language for your company. Interesting.
Fucking go.
364 Bennington. M364. We'll be out on beach attempting to serve. Top one.
Yeah, there were millions
Thank
of
you. And these are how the employees here act. Oh, real nice for your company, buddy. That looks great.
Anybody that's on Facebook, follow me on there real quick.
Just giving everybody a head nod. Some of them wave hello with 5 fingers, and some of them wave with 1. See? Nice smile.
They live in different
on Anthony
areas.
I'm sorry? Oh, he is? Is it about me?
Yeah, Hulk is good.
He might want to hear how his employees are acting out here. You look great, ladies. No worries. Hey, you one of the corporate managers here?
And apparently because of the
Are you one of the corporate managers or anything?
operator issue,
No.
they're
You
giving
might
her
want to tell one of them that their employees out here are acting a little suspicious.
But I told
Doesn't
her, I
make
was
your
like,
company look great by
we'll,
flipping me off.
give you, a chance to have some breaks or something like that, if that's what's going to take. And she said, thank you. And that was her reply. So I'm hoping.
Those other judges.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse. Sanitation is.
Oh, really? Oh, no shit. Will you work here?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Don't tell them anything then. I appreciate that, yeah. Yeah, they're all flipping me off. They're making their company look like
Mhm.
they already called the PD, but like that was over an hour ago.
Yeah, that's
so they're not coming. Yeah, then unless things stir up a little bit more, which they are right now, but I don't think they're gonna come.
Like after near the end of the shift, just to
it's
do like a
I saw
sanitation
them drive by.
cleanup,
It's like observe
or between lines.
observe, report. You know what I mean? If there's no crime, leave it alone. But kudos to them. But this place,
Yeah, I hope so too. Hopefully, this break will give her
Oh, yeah.
some time to chillax for a minute, and she'll come back fresh.
I
on
don't think
Wednesday.
so, man. Are you security?
Yeah.
Okay, security and the 2 PDs right there.
Where you from?
I'm not answering that question. Yeah, no, you're fishing. You're fishing. What do you mean, come here? Yeah, you can come here. What's your name, badge number?
Huh?
Name, badge number?
Oh, right here.
Call the cops. You came here because I'm on the roadway?
Well, this is my area, so I'm all around.
Did you get a call?
I'm all around. I hope I go viral one day for something positive.
Yeah, so I figured I'd hit this one up. A couple months later. Keep it on the down low, just, see how they react, but you never know. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, you don't mind if I use it, do you? All right, cool. All right, brother. Have a good one. All right, everyone. So I think that's going to be it over here today in Bennington, Vermont at Command Composites, a government contracted facility that I conducted this audit at. Didn't go too bad. I had a facilities manager, I'm assuming, come out and approach me and asked me what I was doing. Even asked me for my identification, which we all know that wasn't going to happen. That was a good try with him, but he did say he was going to call the PD, and I'm really curious to see what they said. I'm going to try to pull the records. If it's in this video, great. If not, then there was obviously no call. But these are the type of audits that I like to do, where there's different
the coyotes and all the other varmints will enjoy it.
Different things can happen.
So my
they
son
can
does.
come out here and approach me and then get a little hostile, and then call the PD. PD either doesn't show up or drive by like they did today. I didn't hear anything over dispatch, or sometimes the PD does come out and they act a fool themselves along with the facilities that I conduct these audits
The
at.
rest
So,
out, drag the rest out in the
at
woods.
this point, I'm going to give a little bit of
Whoever's
kudos
eating on it
to
doesn't get hit
Bennington
too.
PD. Our activism in these First Amendment audits are starting to take charge here, and there's just no need. It's just a camera. I'm not on the property. There's no crimes being committed. Just observe, report, and then leave. And I think that's exactly what they did. So that's an A+ on them at this point. That's going to be it over here today. I appreciate all your support. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel at Press NH Now. Also check out my playlist to see some videos you might not have seen in the past. Hit Hit that like button. Let all your friends and family know about my activism in and around the New England area. Always check the description. All links will be included. Donations are greatly appreciated. They do help me continue my activism in and around the New England states.
Right.
We're going to end it off here. Until the next one, press an H now.
You should get to work.
I should get to work. Is that what you're telling me?
If you're busy.
What are you gonna do an interference? His body camera's on. His body camera's on. Stop. He has his body camera
I don't
on.
care. I'm not the one. No, you wanted to stand there and hold your cell phone in my face is what you wanted to do.
So I know your inclination is wanting to assault me, Sergeant. Stop pushing me. I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get in the building.
You have no business here.
I do have business here. Stop acting like a savage. What are you doing?
Brian, do you have any comments for the people on how you were acting like a savage animal? Is that how you treat all members of the public, Brian?
You're a law enforcement officer?
Yeah.
By pretending to be a law enforcement officer? That's why I was a little shocked. Almost 2 months ago now, regarding a FOIA request for some body camera footage.
Okay.
And some security camera footage.
You're standing here and you are recording. So if I could ask you to step out.
I'm okay, sir.
It's getting to the point where if you're not here on official business, we're gonna ask you to please step outside and to leave.
Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Today, we're at the Connecticut State Police Headquarters here in Middletown, Connecticut. We are here today, as always, to peacefully exercise our First Amendment right to film in public and publicly accessible areas, to promote transparency and accountability within our government, to ensure that our public servants recognize our rights and treat us with respect. Let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at the Connecticut State Police Headquarters to follow up on our FOIA request that was made almost 2 months ago on June 16th. Legal has been giving us the runaround. They will not release the body camera footage showing Sergeant Brian Fahey assaulting me and violating my First Amendment rights yet again. So hopefully we can hold them accountable here and get some answers. Let's see what they say. So right over there in front of the food truck, it's where Sergeant Fahey assaulted me, broke my camera, pushed me all the way towards the flagpole. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And this is where he grabbed my phone again, turned it off. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good afternoon now.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm here to speak to somebody from legal regarding a FOIA request that I had submitted.
Okay, give me one. What's your name, sir?
My name is Sean.
Sean, okay, give me 1 second, sir. Okay?
All right, no problem. Thank you. Just can't help yourself, can you? You know I'm here and you got to come outside, don't you? Don't you, Sergeant? You know I'm here and you want to come outside to see me. Can't help yourself. Yes, sir.
I just tried calling Leo. They're not answering. I don't know if they're on lunch. I can try calling again, but they're not answering. I don't know why.
Yeah. So you didn't speak to anybody from legal?
No. I called up there and nobody answered. So I'm not sure if they're in the office or they're on lunch.
All right, no problem. I'll wait.
If you want to wait,
I'll wait.
Like 12:30, okay?
Yeah, sure. I'll wait. Brian, do you have any comments on what occurred last time I was here? Brian, do you have any comments for the people? Did you read the comments on how you were acting like a savage animal? Is that how you treat all members of the public, Brian? You don't even deserve to be called sergeant. Is that how you treat every member of the public, Brian? Interesting. Has nothing to say now. He had a lot to say before when he's slamming the door on us and turning off our phone, violating our First Amendment rights, and just being a criminal that he is. Just because he has that gun and badge doesn't mean that he's not a criminal.
She's gonna take care of you, right?
Excuse me?
She's gonna take care of you because I'm heading to my lunch, okay?
Yeah, sure. Someone's from legal?
No. I'm saying at 12:30, she's gonna call up there again.
Okay. All right. No problem. Thanks, Trooper. Can I get your name and badge number?
Yeah, Martinez 1236.
All right. Thanks, Martinez. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're still waiting here to speak to someone from legal.
Getting anything?
No. I'm waiting to speak to somebody.
Pretty good foot shot.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe on the way out.
Is everything going here, man?
Everything's going good.
Are you recording?
Yeah, taking pictures and video.
An auditor?
Independent journalist.
did you start doing that?
When did I start? 2.5 years ago. Yeah, I've been exposing a lot of corrupt law enforcement officers.
For school for journalism?
No, I didn't. I just been exposing a lot of corrupt law enforcement across the country, and I actually work with police departments and trainings. They invite me in to do trainings at the department.
When they start doing that?
Yeah, last year, and I just got invited to another one. I just did one in North Bergen, New Jersey. So, trying to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the public. Yeah. What in your line of work? You're a law enforcement officer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with transparency, right?
Well, I work here, not a law enforcement officer, but I work here, so I'm an auditors. Are you expecting for me to say something? I'm not going to say anything.
No, I'm not. I mean,
Your face
I was.
says that, though. A lot of people can't see your face behind the camera.
Oh yeah, no, I was just a little concerned because you said you were a law enforcement officer, and then you said you weren't. So
I said I work at a law enforcement.
No, I said, are you a law enforcement officer? And your answer was yes. So I kind of.
You said, are you in law enforcement? I'm in a building that's.
I said you're okay. We'll run it back. You're a law enforcement officer. That's why I record transparency. But that's why my face was like, wow, did this guy just commit a crime in front of my face by pretending to be a law enforcement officer? That's why I was a little shocked. I couldn't believe it for a minute. But no, I don't want you to say anything mean to me. I'd like to have a polite, cordial conversation with you.
Like this. Like you're ready to get me to do something.
I was ready to get you to do something?
Yeah, like you're waiting for my response or something.
Oh.
That's what I was just asking.
No.
I can ask you a question.
Of course, you can ask me whatever you want. No, you can ask me whatever you want, sir. You mind if I get your name?
Who's that?
Jose. And you have a badge number, Jose? No, because you're not law enforcement, right?
You got me.
Do you have a ID number?
I don't feel comfortable giving it out.
You don't feel comfortable giving out your ID number? What department? What department do you work? I mean, you struck up a conversation with me. What department do you work in?
No, because I asked you if you were lunch. I said, "Are you getting anything?" Remember that?
Yeah.
And then you started talking.
Do you,
and then I said, "Are you recording?"
What department do you work for, Jose?
For the DSPP. DESPP.
Legal.
No, not legal.
Not legal. But what department?
You know what DESPP?
Department of Emergency.
You got it.
There you go. So what department? What department do you work for, Jose?
For the state police.
No, but what department inside? What department?
I don't think I have to give you that.
You don't?
From my A&O.
Okay. I mean, that remains to be seen.
That's it. You'll find out. I just wanted to talk to you, man. Why are you so aggressive?
I'm being aggressive.
Ask me all these questions. I'm trying to ask if you went to school. I went to school for journalism.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to tell you. I like all that.
Yeah.
But then you're just like asking me a million questions about where I work at and all that. I just wanted to talk to you, brother.
I can't. You can ask me questions. I can't ask you questions, sir.
I said you could. I answered every question.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. I just wanted to talk.
I don't think I was being aggressive, Jose. Really, I wasn't.
It's all on who's on the other side, right?
I don't think I was being aggressive.
I'm just telling you how I feel.
Wow.
Can't say anything else but how I feel, right, brother?
You can feel however you want. Do you know Sergeant Brian Fahey? Do you know who that is? Sergeant Brian Fahey?
Can you spell that?
Sergeant Brian Fahey?
Your accent, I can't understand. How do you spell Fahey? Fahey?
Yeah, Fahey.
Fahey?
Fahey. F-A-H-E-Y. Fahey. You spell it as it sounds.
There's a couple Faheys.
Yeah, there are. He's the supervisor, a sergeant for the pistol permits.
Yeah, he knows them.
Why are you yelling in my ear? I turned around.
I'm not yelling in your ear.
You're screaming in my ear. Stop.
I'm nowhere near you.
You're telling me that he's the
sergeant. Yeah.
I've already turned around.
Oh, okay. Hey, man, you don't have to be so aggressive. Relax. I'm just having a conversation with you.
I'm waiting. Yeah, you waiting as well? Yeah.
I think you're up, Jose.
No, I'm waiting, sir.
I think you're up to order food.
I got it all set.
Okay, I just think it's your turn. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
I gotta wait for my food, man.
Oh.
It's gotta be cooked. Just please stop.
Oh, so you already ordered?
I did whatever I had to do, man. Please stop bothering me.
I'm not bothering you.
You're turning around. You're pointing anything. You're asking me, "Am I ready?" I'm eating my food, man. Please don't cut this out.
No one's. Why would I cut it out? It shows. Why would I cut it out? It shows how unreasonable you are. Why would I cut it out?
You're telling me that I'm up.
I'm just trying to help you. I was.
Hey, John Doncola. Good to see you, buddy.
Just trying to help you. I thought you needed to order because you said you wanted to know if I was in line. You wanted to know if I was in line, so I think.
If this is the line for waiting for you.
I think they give you a buzzer, Jose. I think that's how it works.
I think I know.
Okay.
It's going great.
Yeah, this dude is a definite TI.
Beautiful day. Positive energy only. That's funny. Interesting.
You're not okay with negative energy.
You're not okay with what? Negative energy?
You gotta love each other.
Yeah, we got to bridge the gap, right? Between law enforcement and the public.
You're doing that by teaching people different things.
Yeah.
You gotta also love people.
Transparency. It's important.
Waiting to get their food.
Transparency and accountability. No one's messing with. I didn't even want to talk to you, Jose. You talk to me. Jose, I think.
And this food is good. Are you gonna support?
I think, of course. Why not? Sure, why not? I got business to do first. I'm not on lunch yet. I got business to handle. I got business to handle. I'm here on official business. I'm here on official business.
Sir.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes. All right.
Colin
Hey, Colin.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Colin. Yeah.
Just real quick.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right, sir.
All right, so I have been emailing with the legal department here. I've been sending emails. I sent an email back in June 16th, so almost 2 months ago now, regarding a FOIA request for some body camera footage and some security camera footage. And apparently they were responsive, said they received it, but I'm not receiving any responses back anymore in regards to my request. And it's been over the legal limit for what's required by FOIA, the FOIA Act here in Connecticut. So I'm wondering what's going on with that.
Okay. I'm just taking notes. So
Of course, yeah, no problem. No problem, sir. Yeah, I understand.
Do you have
So
a
it was on
request
June
number?
16th. Let me see if I can grab it for you. I know it was on June 16th. The Legal Affairs Unit. They didn't give
Got a
me
shirt.
you can see
It's
here,
got
sir.
red, white, and blue on it.
They just said
It says
received.
US
Thank you.
EH,
Legal
USA.
Affairs Unit, Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection.
Okay.
I just saw it yesterday. I was cleaning out
added
some
to the
closet.
I added to the
Oh,
request.
shit, I forgot I had this
They said your
t-shirt.
request has from information has referred to the office for review. And then I followed up, as you see here, I followed up a few times and I've never received a response back. Like I said, it's going on 2 months now, and I'm pretty sure by FOIA laws here in Connecticut, you have 30 days to provide me with or at least a response to what.
Well, I think we were responsive. We acknowledged the request.
Yeah.
I will check in and determine whether or not where it is in the process.
Yeah, because I
can't.
I didn't want to drive. I didn't want to drive all the way over here. I live 4 hours away, but again, no one's responding to my emails. So I decided to come down here personally. I even said, hey, I'm going to have to come down there personally, speak with somebody from Legal Affairs. So if you could look into it, that'd be great. So
Yeah, and we'll
see
get
the
back
status
to
of my request.
That's all I can say right now.
Can you look up the status of my request now while I'm here?
I can't really do that right now because I'd have to go up.
I could wait out here while you go up and check on the status. I mean, I drove 4 hours to get here. I just can't trust your department that they're going to answer my emails again, and then I have to come back out here. And I can wait here as long as you need, just to check on the request that you saw that was received. So if you could so I can get an ETA on when it will be done. And like I said, it's been almost 2 months now. That's really unusual. I do FOIA requests across Connecticut, and it usually doesn't take that long for a short body camera footage. And
all I can say is, that's typically not our process. What I mean by that process, we don't usually meet people in person and go up and do that.
you don't check on the status?
Let me check your status. And but the best way is I'll probably just send you an email. Literally send you an email.
I mean, you
Hey,
don't have to come back.
you need
down.
that letter?
Email right now. I'll receive it
Need
right
that
now,
letter?
and I'll.
Did
just
you
take
need
that as-
letterhead?
I'm just telling you, I might go up there.
Was that you?
They'll
No, it was Travis. Never mind. I
Could you
apologize.
shoot me down an email right this
How's it
second
going?
so it says, hey, it's still in progress?
Good. Almost done, huh?
Fair enough?
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
You guys
Colin.
don't work tomorrow?
All
right.
No,
Well, you have a good day.
Is there any way I can speak to somebody in records? I can go to records window?
For records?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so can I go to the records window?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just put your any metal in the box.
Sure.
I can't see from here if there's someone at the window, but
Sure.
it says report to records.
Yeah, I got it. I'll take care of it. Thank you.
Nobody's voted on my poll yet.
Hey, how are you? I'm doing okay. How would I go about? Can I submit FOIA requests with your office? So you're only open for FOIA requests on Tuesdays and Thursdays? Oh,
So somebody's available at the front window Tuesdays and Thursdays. Understood. I got you. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Bye-bye. All right. So apparently only Tuesdays and Thursdays they have. Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm just going to take a little look around the facility here in the publicly accessible areas just for some B-roll footage for my story I'm working on.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Over here we have the Special Licensing and Firearms Unit. Some public notices over here to our right. Authorized personnel only.
Film over here, there's people giving personal information that's not public.
Why would they give out personal information in
Because
public?
they're giving information about their pistol permit. So they need their demographic information, their name, their address, their phone number, their social security number.
So they're saying it in public? Or
They're
everybody?
sitting at the window providing that information.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't believe these people in line would want you to film their personal information.
Oh, my intention is not to film their personal information. Man.
Okay, but you're standing here and you are recording. So if I could ask you to step out into the lobby, please.
Yeah, I'm also taking a look at the publicly accessible areas of the facility here.
That would be over here in the lobby.
This is a lobby as well, sir. This is
Correct.
publicly accessible lobby. I'm okay, sir. Can I get your name and badge number, please?
Sergeant Foreman 101.
And your name and badge number, ma'am?
Sergeant Maurice 288.
So supervisors, you should be very, very well versed in the people's rights and the Constitution, correct?
We are.
Okay, so
And
great.
that's why this gentleman is standing back here, so he doesn't overhear what's going on at the window. So that's why I'm asking you to do the same thing and give the
Well,
person.
nobody has
the same
an expectation of privacy in public, Sergeant.
Okay.
But again, my intention is not to gather any private information, Sergeant. So like I said, we have some public notices here, just trying to hold people accountable. They have cameras everywhere. Our friendly reminders that they're always recording us, even though it always seems to be an issue when we record them. Obviously, that's the case here today. They always want to make it about public and private information. Oh, sure. Hey, how are you, Mr. Collins?
Okay, so what I can tell you, probably not yet this, but it's being reviewed. The person isn't in right now who's assigned to it, so I'm going to have her get in touch with you as soon as possible.
Who reviews it?
The different legal staff members. So
Different legal staff members.
Yeah, so that person will get it.
Does it normally take 2 months to review a FOIA request?
I don't know the scope of the FOIA request, so I can't answer that.
It's one officer's body camera footage.
I can't answer that. And you're also, this is one of the largest agencies that receives so many requests. So
Oh, I'm sure you're dealing with probably a lot of FOIA requests for the
there's a
ticket
lot
scandals.
of FOIA requests, so it's different. So
For the
that's
ticket
all.
scandals.
So that's all I can tell you. So,
Okay, yeah, no problem.
So I'd ask if okay.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll keep following through email. Hopefully, somebody answers me. Maybe you can get in touch with the person I've been emailing with and ask them to answer my email, so I don't have to come down here next time.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a
Okay.
good day. Thank you.
So, but we would ask if once you do have other business here, that we would ask you to.
Oh, my business. I'm just getting some B-roll footage. I'm an independent journalist, and I'm just working on a story here. And I'm going to stay in the
That's not
publicly
really-
accessible areas.
That's not exactly the state business here. And plus, you have people here with state permits. So
What does that? What does the permits have? What do the permits have to do with it? Well, Connecticut, I have a right to be in a pub. This is publicly accessible area, correct? That's open to the public.
in this specific area,
This is a publicly accessible area, correct?
well, we're just asking you if you do have state business here.
No, I'm just going to finish taking some B-roll footage here and taking some pictures and video in the publicly accessible areas and holding my government accountable here, and I'll be on my way eventually.
What do you mean eventually?
Well,
You've gotten
you close, right?
You're gonna until we close.
Do you close? Is it open 24 hours?
No, it's not open 24 hours.
Okay.
Sir,
So I definitely won't be here past closing. I promise you that.
we're just gonna ask you if because your business here is concluded that to please leave at this point.
Am I being trespassed from the property? Because I can't be trespassed as long as I'm following. Am I breaking any laws right now?
Sir, give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
At this point, if your business is concluded, we're going to ask you to leave at this point. We do not want individuals loitering around in the building. I understand you're filming, but
Yeah, I'm not loitering.
you are, because at this point you don't have any actual state business here.
I'm not loitering in the building, sir.
Sir,
I'd like to
really
speak to a
would like
supervisor.
Unfortunately, my supervisor is actually not in right now. So
I don't need to speak to your supervisor. Are you a law enforcement officer, sir?
I'm not a law enforcement officer.
Okay, because I've been told by certain people that they're law enforcement officers today, and they weren't. So I just wanted to make sure we're clear. You're not law enforcement.
Officer. I am asking you I am asking that if your business.
I would like to speak to a law enforcement officer supervisor, please. A sergeant of some sort, at the very least. Just because I want to make sure that what we're doing here is legal and on the up and up, because this is a public building that everybody has a right to access.
And you have a right to access as long as you are here on some sort of state business or some sort of business. You're more than welcome if you need to request something. If you're more than welcome to get that handled by a permit with requisite.
But if I wasn't recording, if somebody was in here and they weren't recording, you wouldn't be asking them to leave. You're asking me to leave because I'm recording.
I think we'd be asking if you were just hanging out and loitering without any recording.
Well, I'm not loitering. I'm handling my business. Like I said, I'm holding my government accountable, which is a constitutionally protected activity and part of the state law here in Connecticut. We have the right to film law enforcement officers in the course of their duty.
Hand show.
Are you aware of that bill that was passed by the Connecticut legislature,
I'm not
sir?
trying to argue the law.
I don't want to argue the law either. I don't want to argue the law either. So I just want to let you know what the law is, so that way we can act accordingly from there. That's all. The law is I have a right to record police in the course of their duty. This is the course of their duty. I'm in public. I'm not committing any crimes. I'm not causing any disturbances.
At this point, it's getting to the point where if you're not here on official business, we're gonna ask you to please step outside and to leave.
Well, sir, you're not even a law enforcement officer. I don't understand why we can't be in our public building here, holding our government officials accountable. Take care, Colin.
You're more welcome to stay here in this area.
Oh, really?
We would ask you just to stay in this.
Anywhere, just not in a secure, can't go in a secure.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's not my intention. Thanks, Colin. I appreciate. Thank you, man, for educating Colin on our rights here today. I truly appreciate that.
No, never.
Ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. I know I say that word a lot, but it really is. When you're here in person, trying to figure out exactly, why our rights are almost being violated. Ridiculous. Try and create privacy in public. Any excuse, loitering. Your business here is done. My business is holding government accountable, and it's proven that the Connecticut State Police need to be held accountable. They have a ticket scandal. One of the troopers who wrote the most falsified tickets, the union is protecting his name from the public from being released. Horrible. They're protecting a criminal. But they have a history of that here at the Connecticut State Police because they protect Sergeant Brian Fahey. That's what they do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting out of here. We have seen all we can see in our public lobby here. All right, guys, so we're just getting out of the Connecticut State Police headquarters here in Middletown, Connecticut. So from the start, we were treated with respect. Things were going well. The trooper who greeted us at the door tried to get us some assistance by calling legal. I understand that we came at lunchtime, so they were on lunch. So I had no problem waiting for them to come out and speak with me. We did get into some side conversation with Jose, who said he was a law enforcement officer and then said he wasn't a law enforcement officer. So the legality of that is interesting. And he tried to escalate the situation, make it seem like our interaction was something that it wasn't. He was actually a pretty weird guy, to be honest with you. I don't know what was his issue. He started talking to me first. I don't really get it, to be honest with you. It was a very fascinating conversation,
No choppers on Facebook,
to say the least.
Every old guy's on
Then we
Facebook.
spoke to Colin from the legal department here, and he had no answers for us. Our FOIA request was submitted almost 2 months ago on June 16th of this year. They acknowledged it. All we're asking for is the body camera footage that would show Brian Fahey assaulting me and turning off my camera, a First Amendment violation, trying to close the door like some maniac. If you haven't seen those previous videos, I'll link them all in the description. Make sure you check them out. And then Colin, when he couldn't give us any answers, said, I'll get back to you, even though they haven't gotten back to me. I had to drive 4 hours to get some answers today. He tries to remove me from the building and tell me I have no right to be here. 2 other supervisors of the Connecticut State Police try and say that I cannot film in public.
Never have to worry about
that. People have privacy in public.
Good enough.
The education system here for the Connecticut State Police is lacking. No education, no accountability is a recipe for disaster. And that's why they're going through all the scandals that they're going through today.
Bunghole
fake
flash
ticket
is not
scandal, tens of thousands of false tickets written by Connecticut State Police, the union covering for them, not releasing the name of the most egregious offender of writing these false tickets to try and make it seem like they're less racist than they are here. Problem here at the Connecticut State Police, no accountability. We've seen Sergeant Brian Fahey. We tried to talk to him today. He didn't want to speak to us, give us any comment. I swear, it's like he sees me from inside of his office or inside of the Connecticut State Police Department headquarters here, and he just chooses to come outside every time I'm here. He wants that confrontation. He wants to confront me. He wants to try and assault me again and violate my rights because he can do it over and over again without any accountability. Federal lawsuits are coming against Sergeant Brian Fahey and the Connecticut State Police, so stay tuned for that. I have 2 attorneys working on that as we speak. Stay tuned to the channel for further updates. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island on it. Peace.
I don't think I have anything ready. Oh, we have Regan from earlier. 69, 70. West Side.
Hey, good afternoon. So just decided to go live here. I'm in downtown Denver at Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, helping a woman move into her housing. Miss Stephanie, we'll see her in a minute. She's coming back, but we were just moving her in here and happened to notice that EHS, along with one Denver cop here, is just taking all this stuff.
The new Flex isn't
on this
new.
property.
It's re-uploaded.
There was
Flex.
nobody in it.
His first arrest.
I watched
It was grandma.
the cop look in the tent from right down the block here. So I came over. I have some static recording. They've made contact with no one. There's no posting. And so they're just going to take all this stuff. I don't see any storage bins coming off the truck. That's supposed to be part of the deal. If somebody were maybe to go to jail or abandoning their stuff, I don't know. I'm guessing this is all going in the trash. It's pretty disheartening in that Johnston said no more sweeps, and they just got done sweeping this area like a week ago tomorrow. And they claim they have a rat infestation down here, except they've cleared out all the boulders. There's no fencing here. Folks are on this side of the street because they've got nowhere to go. But apparently this person is just having all their stuff thrown away. Hey, Bokamo. So Mike Johnston is the new mayor of Denver. And there's Miss Stephanie. That's some nice man handing out some goodies right there. Yeah, they're just standing here. I'm assuming waiting for a trash truck. They're going to claim that there was hazardous material in there. Yep, here it comes. Thanks, babe.
I'm gonna go buy the truck.
Okay, I'm just gonna finish this up. We'll do that live. I want you to talk to people here when we're done. Okay? You all right? You want the key or?
Yeah.
Can you get it off of there if I push this?
Hold on.
I want to film this. See what's going on there?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I got it. There you go.
But no pressure. That was my first idea because I don't have an on-call person this week.
There it is. Brand new sleeping bag, brand new chairs, very nice blankets. Those are brand new. Very brand new tarp, brand new suitcase. There's the cop. Look at all those nice blankets. Bag of clothes. And you didn't get to see the tent before I started the live stream. Very nice tent, very usable tent. I'm assuming that was their property as well. Don't know though. It was parked next to it. Whole shopping cart. That's pure theft. This is our new mayor administration. Going, oh well, we're not doing sweeps anymore. Oh yeah, they're not doing sweeps. They're just showing up, taking people's stuff. And anything that looks like a sweep gets a bunch of media attention. You know, if it's multiple people. But this is how they're doing it. I don't believe this new administration. Look at that. Look at that brand new tent. I don't think this administration is serious about stopping this. It's been a month now. And so far, we've had things like this going on every day. We've had RVs being literally swooped up with no notice. People left, standing on the streets. We got a situation with Shelly, stole her RV and then took her to a motel out in Aurora, dumped her out there. From what she tells me, there's another woman in that same motel that they did the same thing to. I'm going to try to get out there today and talk to her. But this is how Denver is dealing with homelessness. Just come steal all their stuff. What was the reason for just taking that property?
The basement area, this has already been closed off for EDPAC.
So that was the sweep last Friday. So how was this?
This whole block is still closed.
And how would this person have known that?
If you have any more questions,
How would this person have known that? How do you know they abandoned it? It's Regan, Longy. Can I have your card, please? Yeah, he's not going to tell us that he just stood here and watched an orchestrated theft of personal property. How is that person supposed to know this?
yeah, go from there, and then this one's going to go too. Yeah.
These were to solve homelessness as well. Aren't these nice? Do you have BWC on this today? All right, very good. Nuremberg. You just orchestrated theft. Why? You just stood here and orchestrated stealing someone's personal property. Why? All you do is what? You give them an escort? Is that what you said? All he does is give them an escort. So apparently they have all the authority to steal people's property. And he's their personal security, gives them an escort. Isn't that interesting? So these orders are coming down onto the trash crew from who? To have authority over everything that gets thrown away.
You know what? You got, go ahead, my brother, go ahead.
Hey, wasn't Nuremberg? Isn't that Lurch? Holy shit, Aurora Transparency. Isn't this Lurch from the night you got thrown into the wall? Oh, hot damn. That fucker, huh? Nuremberg, that's right. This is the cop that was parked in a lane on Broadway trying to evict a homeless person from inside a foyer where a bank leaves it open 24/7. We were having 10 below temps that night, and we were filming this interaction with him. And this idiot called in literally like, I don't know, 15 deep in backup. And that Corporal Crelly threw Liz into the wall. Yeah. Interesting stuff, huh?
We remember.
That's Nuremberg. That's Lurch. We call him Lurch. What else you stealing? Oh, you do? I'm sorry. My apologies. My apologies. Yeah, aren't these nice? This is used to solve homelessness. You see? So they took the boulders out from across the street last week because they claim there's a rat infestation.
Honey, there is though.
Well, yeah, because they live in those, you see? So that's why they removed those rocks. But they've put all this stuff on the street and the people are still here.
Right.
So they come steal all their shit when they've got no notice. They just literally threw all that person's stuff away. It ain't right. You know? And he's claiming that it's abandoned. Well, it's not.
I just slept this morning somewhere. I don't know where he went.
Oh, did you see the guy in the tent? So it was a guy with the broom. He walks around with the broom all the time and sweeps. Did he have a broom? He didn't? No.
It was a younger couple.
In that tent? Yeah. A younger couple in that tent that are probably over at Stout Street right now trying to get services. And they're going to come out and all their shit's gone. They got nothing to survive with. They threw away brand new blankets, clothes, everything. They threw it all away. Have a good day. Thank you. Well, there you go. There's no signage here. Whoever was here didn't know. It's quite obvious. They hadn't been here for very long. So they just came and threw it all away. There you go, Denver. Getting real serious about stopping this bullshit. You're not. It's going to be the same shit, different day, you guys. So I'm going to have some announcements pretty soon. I'm going to be shifting gears because it's just a literal war zone out here. And people, they're not going to be able to survive. They're just not. And I'm not going to keep going to jail over it. I can't. We have little tiny pockets of success every, 3 to 6 months. We get somebody housed if we're lucky. And I want to celebrate that today with Stephanie. And that's what we're doing right now. So, but all these people got to keep their stuff. So supposedly there's a rat infestation from here to right here. So they got all their stuff thrown away. There you go. Oh, I gotta just not, you see, it's too much. This is Nazi, this is communist USA right here. And I'm not going to win this battle because it's going to take more than my voice. And, nobody really gives a shit. Very few are out here watching this. And people are dying. Nobody cares. It's too much. So let's go back to this truck. Stephanie and I just brought a truckload. We're going to have a little chat with her because, yeah, she's got great news. And we're going to help her. We're going to get her set up for success in her apartment. That cop said he was just there to provide the trash crew, an escort, to orchestrate theft because there's a rat infestation apparently, and that section is still closed off. Who would know? Nobody would know. So whoever that young couple is, and it was a younger couple according to these construction guys that are working right there in the lot, they said it was a younger couple. They saw them this morning. So I'm guessing they're over here right now trying to get help and services, and they're going to come out and they're not going to have any clothes or tent, blankets, nothing. So there you go. Oh my God. Dear God, help us.
Sorry, I'm ordering some phones.
You got the key, hon? Steph, you got the key? Just unlock it. You ready?
Yeah.
Sorry to keep you waiting, but we needed to record that. All right. Let's have a little chit chat with Stephanie. Stephanie, what? We're telling people that you got a place.
Okay.
And we want to set you up for success. Turn that radio down. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're sweating it up.
Yeah, here in this hot ass.
It's hot. I'm saying it's got to be over 90 degrees right now. So we got one more load to make, and I think Stephanie's going to be spending the night in her new place. Hopefully it's going to be a good fit for her.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I'm good. I like it. It'll keep me alive in the wintertime.
We'll keep her alive in the wintertime because they want to. You've seen Stephanie's. They've been trying to steal her RV for quite some time.
Yeah.
So, but it's good news.
Yeah.
So we're working to make it even better for her. So we're going to finish doing our stuff, and we're going to start a wish list for Stephanie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come back and talk about that so people that want to help continue to set her up for success can be a part of that, because what they do here in Denver and in general here in the metro area, if they get housing, they say, here's your key, see ya, bye.
Yeah, they don't help you get nothing.
So there's no help moving.
Provide any moving, any, like dishes, nothing.
Nothing.
Shower curtains, toilet paper, nothing.
Yeah. So much like those of you that have followed John's housing situation, our wonderful mod Amanda from California really single-handedly pretty much furnished John's apartment. So I think we can pull together with a wish list, and we're going to make sure Stephanie gets some appliances and things she needs. She needs a coffee maker, toaster,
microwave, a crock pot,
little crock pot.
Maybe, I don't know what else.
Maybe some more silverware. You might see and some utensils.
Some
glasses, cups, plates, bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be working on that.
I got pots and pans.
Do you have pots and pans?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I need plates and shit.
Plates and shit, though.
Yeah,
She needs plates and shit. So we're gonna get her a lot of chit.
Yeah.
She needs some rugs.
She has some rugs and a shower curtain and
maybe a few
you know,
more
some
towels,
hygiene stuff.
hygiene, cleaning stuff,
Yeah.
broom,
Yeah.
dustpan,
Dustpan.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Dish
moving.
soap,
Dish soap,
laundry soap,
laundry here. Oh my goodness,
Expensive.
$1.50 to wash and $1.25 to dry, and they're small. And
They
I
don't
guess
dry so good. You got to watch them. The lady said people steal it.
theft. Yeah, a lot of stealing of the laundry. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for her.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to continue to work on this stuff. Thanks for joining us and watching Denver desecrate people's lives.
Yeah, take their homes.
Take their homes, steal their property. Nobody can do anything about
in
it.
a city dumpster.
Throw it in the dump after they crush it in the trash truck. Let
Yeah.
you know what your worth is on this
Yeah.
planet. Yeah,
They
it
don't
feels
care.
feels
They
real
just
good.
crush it right up.
Feels real good, you guys. It's a great. I'm so glad we've got a new mayor administration.
Yeah,
Same
he should
shit,
put an
different
end
day.
to this. Yeah.
I mean, what have you seen come out of it? The only thing that he's done is publicize that they're going to start trash pickup in a couple spots
Yeah.
twice a week, and people are losing their shit over that. All these moms are coming out of the woodwork,
And they have nothing.
and these neighborhood NIMBYs. Oh my God, you're just
Ghostface
enabling these people.
person
These are
says
the same
their
people that have
caller ID is
bitched about
Ghostface.
sanitation. So imagine, if you
Impact
will,
employment. I'm
a
speaking. Can I
world
help you?
where people bitching about the government not addressing
doing what
sanitation,
they're supposed to do.
and then they do it.
Oh, awesome,
And they
man.
double down on why they shouldn't do
Awesome.
it.
Yeah.
When did you want to get
but,
started?
you know, I'm sure that's consuming all of his time.
If you want to do Monday, that's
24/7,
fine.
5 days a week, trying to
I mean,
calm
they could use the help on
angry
days, I'm
mom
sure.
over the trash. Well, the same shit
Yeah.
keeps going on.
I mean,
out
that's
there.
what you were going to do anyway, right, Days?
Mhm.
And they
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, depending on what day they
Yeah.
give you up.
And
But
throw you
yeah,
in
if you
jail.
show up tomorrow, I'll shoot them a message saying
So
that you did
yeah,
finally get your
welcome
goods.
to
Make an excuse to put
All
you
right.
in
So
jail.
you'll be there
You
tomorrow?
only got a warrant.
any excuse.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah, trespassing,
Yeah.
obstruction,
Mhm.
failure to obey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had 'em all. So and I never even stopped them from doing anything.
I know.
Right? It's like they.
It's funny because the day they tried to take my RV, I was not getting out of there.
No, you weren't.
And I don't have no warrants. They can't make me get out.
If you guys remember the last live stream with Stephanie, they were trying to steal her camper, even though the cops told her she could move it and it was running. She just needed a jump. But in the meantime, Ed O'Connell got in her gloved up and got in her
in my camper and would not get out.
Yeah, stood behind her.
Yeah.
What was he? What
Oh,
was he
Mr. Allen,
saying?
this is on again. Sorry.
Standing there as a
Actually,
presence.
let's. Can you do it Monday?
never
But
said a word.
Rob needs help over here at the mix plant. You want to work over here?
Interesting.
Yeah. I said, well, I'm driving now.
Yeah, it's the mix plant. You just be mixing up the material to get shipped over there. A lot more independent work.
And they, and he decided he would get out.
Yep. Same building.
Yeah, he'd had a
All
little
right.
fall,
So Monday.
a little trip and fall, but that
Enjoy
actually
your
happened
weekend
long
and
before
report
you
here
took
5 a.m.
off.
Monday, okay?
Yeah.
That was him just being a dumbass.
All right.
Yeah.
He just
So
wanted to get in there and stay in there.
he just wanted to be a threat.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted to do. And then you saw me.
Intimidation.
I got him on camera at the end. He's telling me he's the least intimidating guy out there. Gloved up, standing behind
he
her.
gave me his phone number and told me whenever I'm ready to get rid of my RV, he'll make sure I get housing quicker.
That's what Ed told you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's got a special in to housing?
I guess.
So how come he didn't make that happen?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because he's a stupid cop. That's
Yeah,
why.
he's an ass. And you know him and Anastasia got a kid together, right?
Let's hear the gossip, Stephanie.
They have a kid together.
All right.
Ed O'Connell and Anastasia Moore have a kid together?
Yes, they do. They have a little wandering 2-year-old son.
So Anastasia Moore, you've seen her.
Yeah.
Super emotional gal. She gets a little unnerved when I'm around. She can't really control herself. Can't figure out how to do her job because she's too distracted. So she has
a baby.
She has a baby with Ed O'Connell.
Yeah. They've been fraternizing for years.
They've been fraternizing for years. How do you know this?
Just cause.
Just cause. Hey, you know
I
what?
got
That's what they
friends
do. That's what
in
they
low
do to us. They gossip. They gossip about us. They talk shit about us. So I think that's great. So spread the news. Anastasia Moore and Ed O'Connell
have a baby.
have a baby. And it's a son. They've been doing the deed for how long?
About
did you say?
3 or 4 years, probably now.
3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
You think they're doing the deed on the clock?
Probably.
Yeah. We should try to get some proof on that. We need some video.
We should, yeah.
We got friends.
Yeah.
We got friends
I got
that
lots
can
of
work on
friends
that.
can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they have a son.
Interesting. I did not know that. I'll have to ask her about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time I see Anastasia, she
tell
tells me, you don't pronounce my name right. And I said, well, why don't you tell me how to pronounce it? I'm not telling you nothing. I said, okay. So we started calling her Stacy. So next time I see Stacy, we're gonna ask her.
If she got the baby.
And if
it's Ed O'Connell's.
If Ed I love her. Days of our lives.
No fraternizing on the job, guys.
All right, y'all. Well, we gotta drive. I don't have a phone holder. So catch us later on me talking about Stephanie's wish list. And let's get her set up for success.
And
so
remember, no fraternizing.
That goes for you too.
Yeah. I know.
No fraternizing with the staff, Stephanie.
I know.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Good. Thanks for popping in. Did you accept the hey Aiden? Did you accept the community thing? Let's see. Let me see. Refresh. Check your notifications and accept it, Matt. What the hell is this? The West Side accountability. Looks like she's buffering. Let's find something here. I'll be only going to play one more thing. I'm not going to stay on forever today. Oh, she's live again?
Has helped do nothing, not one thing. Okay. And then another abandoned vehicle notice, automobile junker this time. So
I didn't know she was live again. That live was from earlier.
Stop. And all I can do is expose it. Get your facts straight, Regan. Give me the facts, Johnny. Give me the facts. I've been sending emails to everybody in the city that can give me the facts. Everybody's just dead silent. And my records request so far provide that the facts are he went and did what he did and didn't activate his body cam. So you tell me. You tell me. If you all, do you guys have the facts? Rain Nation, at her new place, can she safely keep her RV there? No, not likely. Lois, the new mayor, so far, nothing. I'm not impressed. He's got a hell of a PR campaign going on right now. Like I said earlier, he's going to start some trash service in a couple areas, and the whole city's freaking the fuck out because how dare you provide sanitation, even though we've been bitching about sanitation. How dare you provide sanitation? So his whole team and staff are, they're just softening the blow for all the NIMBYs, that have a problem with sanitation. So that's the big thing right now. And they started with just announcing that they're doing some trash service twice a week. And wait till they announce that they're going to put some toilets out there. He's going to have 15 staffers to respond to city council and the NIMBYs just to address putting trash and toilets out there. Instead of just being like the last mayor, why don't you just ignore that and move on to the things that you said you were going to do? You're going to house 1,000 people before fall. It's August. Right now, right here, I got 2 people I could put in my car. I've got 3 women right now waiting for me to get back to them to tell them, get in the car. We got a place for you. Since you can't be here, government says you can be here, except government's not delivering. So he's going to house 1,000 people before fall. But now that messaging is kind of changing. And now it's moving to 1,000 people by the end of the year, right? She needs the RV as backup in case new place doesn't work out or runs out of time. Yeah, she's in her new place for a year. And then it'll be another process to start over. Sorry, gotta hydrate. Get your facts straight, Regan. Give me the facts, Johnny. If a police officer doesn't have his cam activated, he should be considered a private citizen without legal authority, in your opinion. He should immediately be fired. I'm sorry. There's a reason that the public expects these laws to be upheld. And as we know, governmental immunity, do whatever the hell we want with impunity.
I see a lot. She's reading a lot of chat that I don't see. Must be old.
Yep, that's the point. Impersonating a cop, theft, kidnapping, etc. But he's in uniform and he's got a gun. Yeah, a year. Guess what happens after a year? Nobody follows up on that, and then they're back out on the street. Just like what's going on with Jerry. For those of you that are following that story, Jerry, they stick him in rapid rehousing on a grant. It's good for a year. Nobody follows up. Now he's got nowhere to go. So we've been working on those applications, but he's going to be back out on the streets by the end of the month. So this isn't going to stop. This homelessness industrial complex for government is too important and too much of a moneymaker to actually solve. You saw me go up to District 4 the other day. Another nonprofit gets to just randomly commandeer a bunch of open space on taxpayer-supported public property at District 4 that has probably more than an acre of land where they could immediately erect a safe outdoor space.
She said
erect.
erect. She said erect.
Nonprofits that are already running those. But no, we're not going to do anything like that out here where all these people are right now. But we're telling them they can't be here, they can't exist, they can't survive. But we're going to let a nonprofit just walk into District 4 and ask, can I have that space? Oh, sure. Just as long as you're not putting homeless people on it. What are you doing with it? Oh, I want to build a garden. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. So I've done a records request for that. So far, no response. No response for any of those documents that certainly were in writing. I mean, right? I mean, what do we just got a verbal agreement up there at District 4 that a nonprofit can just take over the open space and then all the press picks this up and advertises that this great nonprofit, who, by the way,
vote on my poll too.
To continue
vote
to
on my
do their
poll.
nonprofit work. Look, I don't have a problem with that nonprofit. However, they just got themselves free property and free advertising on the backs of taxpayers. So where was the process for all nonprofits to have the same opportunity? In Denver, you can't do things because of zoning. You need variances. You need land use approval. You need all this stuff. If you're going to be using public space in Denver, that's just public space. If you want to be a private business, the requirements are 50 times heavier. So, yeah. So, I mean, I know none of this, makes sense to the NIMBYs. And they think that homeless people are just going to poof disappear. And their goal, as well as the cities, is if we run them around enough and we take their stuff away, they're going to die. We're going to have reasons to need to build more jails. We're going to be able to have more discussions about how we can take all these people and get them out of sight. Meanwhile, over in the criminal justice system, you've got that whole jail loaded in Denver with mental health, with homeless. Nobody's paying attention to that. There are 500 facets to what is going on with people, with individuals who have done nothing to harm.
Well, you mean you're
another person.
blocked?
This is a communist faction sphere.
I thought you and her were friends, Johnny.
And people are just like, until it comes to your front door, you're going to let government do this and segregate society again based on economic inequality, mental health issues, lack of resources, lack of even really understanding what day it is for a lot of these folks that struggle every single day with just simple survival. Let's let them die. I'll look the other way. I'm gonna go do my thing at the park, go play some golf, and a bunch of overdoses. Yeah, the morgue's filling up. Yeah, oh well. Yeah, I don't know. So we call this a free country, unless you're homeless. And that's the truth. If you're homeless in America, you are part of a communist regime response from government. That's the bottom line. It's just the bottom line. Snarky, I'm certain the nonprofit is somehow involved with the Denver cleanup people, getting funding by burning people's lives at both ends. Well, no. This nonprofit donates food. They grow the food, right? That feels great. Look, I'm not trying to say that their work isn't valued or important. I've watched this particular nonprofit kind of grow, but it definitely isn't really focused on homeless folks, I'm just going to say. So, and that's their prerogative. They say they give to food banks and whatnot. I'm going to trust they do. So I've never seen them out here like distributing anything to the homeless out here. And that's fine too. But just saying, those are my observations. I think that's great that you grow food for the community, except you're getting special exceptions to grow food while others can't grow food. That's kind of weird. And government's granting you the permission to do that. That's kind of weird. Yeah. Government picks winners and losers. Government decides who lives and dies. Bottom line. Yeah, thank you, Swine.
Oh, exactly.
You cannot grow food
I feel the same way.
outside in the winter. That's correct. Thank you for pointing that out, because it's not a year-round opportunity. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out. So my day has gone from needing to do something to doing something totally and completely different. And so I'm going to get off of here right now because I just felt that it was important to go live while Johnny was prepping to get out of his vehicle to let everybody know that they don't have a right to exist, be here, whatever it might be. You can be legal. You can be totally legal, paying all your fees and your taxes and licking the boots, but you still can't be here because you look like somebody I don't think I like looking at. So move along. Move along. You guys, thank you very much. I'll be hopping back in to talk about Stephanie's wish list, and we'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your day. It's hot. Drink lots of water.
Sweet.
Imagine having a job where you cost your company $10 million, even $10,000, but $10 million, and yet you still get to keep your position and your benefits.
A man who claims he was violently arrested by Dearborn police sues the city and wins big.
A jury awarding nearly $10 million to the victim, who says he was only asking for directions. Here's Fox News' Hillary Golson with more on this historic settlement.
You basically cost your community $10 million. Now insurance premiums are going to go up in that city because of what this cop did when he didn't have to.
They're already pretty high in that city.
Context is very important here. Luther Gonzalez Hall was coming from a friend's house on his bike. He wanted to be sure that he was heading the right way to get home when he was attacked by an officer seemingly without provocation after asking for directions. The suit he won not only alleges violations of constitutional rights, but false imprisonment and arrest and battery and the wrongful charging of a crime.
I told you what was there, right? Why are you in here asking the same thing?
That's a Dearborn police officer speaking with Luther Gonzalez Hall inside a White Castle back in 2018.
I'm not for sure where I'm going. I told you where to go. All right, thank you. Is that accurate or no? Yeah. So why are you in here? I was just making sure.
Then 20-year-old Gonzalez Hall had stopped to speak with the officer outside, but was still confused.
Did you know that? I didn't even know there was a law where if you ask a cop a question and he answers it, you can't ask that same question to somebody else. This cop got so offended that the guy wasn't going to believe him for directions.
Wawa, who's Wawa?
To ask somebody else for the same.
I was. It's doing this thing. West Side Accountability.
This guy.
Yeah.
Or I asked him for directions, and
it says live.
he was just being rude already and
can't see shit,
cursing at me and stuff like that. So I just wanted to get away from him. I feel like he was having a bad day. So that's why I went to the White Castles and tried to ask them, because I've been there plenty of times. I was trying to find my way home, and I kept asking them, you know, what did I do? What did I do?
What did I do? What did I do? I'm sorry. What did I do? Looking at the jury's $9.3 million verdict, the answer to that is nothing except decide to get out of there.
Come here, guy. Come here. Yo.
Whoa. Gonzalez Hall would eventually be tackled.
Luther had a right to resist, because as a citizen, most people don't know this. You
can resist
an unlawful arrest. So the officer figures, oh, he resisted. I'm going to stick him with the charge of resisting and opposing.
The charge was dropped. Luther has had several surgeries, including...
Look at these photos right here. Look at these photos. This is what this cop did to this kid. A kid who was, what's his crime? Asking for directions and then asking again to the people in the White Castle. That's all that it took for this cop to go off and go ballistic on this kid, costing his city $9.3 million, because this cop will never feel the consequences for his actions because he has the blanket of protection that we call qualified immunity. This is certainly qualified stupidity, and this qualified immunity is going to protect that cop and the fraternal order of police like Kevlar until kingdom come. My question is, when do we change this? It's utterly ridiculous that we have any human beings, or that any human being would consent to this.
Drop the link.
You know, if the problem with our world is that we have criminals running amok, then the last thing you want to do is give those criminals a gun, a utility belt, and the authority of the state to run roughshod over the rest of us.
Multiple on his foot, according to his attorney, and has been left with permanent damage.
My dad was a cop. My dad would have given him a ride home. My dad would have called, you know, his mom, his dad, or somebody to say, hey, you know, he's a little disoriented. Can you come pick him up?
My dad would have given him a ride home after he initiated unjust force and violence on people who are, say, transporting illegal plant matter. Come on, this is across the board. We either have rights in America or we don't. We either have a protection class called law enforcement who's going to fulfill their oath to protect and defend and uphold the Constitution, which includes upholding your right to freedom of speech, freedom of protection, freedom to do anything you want.
I did a search Wawa. There's a ton of them, but none of them look like some crazy hippie shit.
People's stuff and not paying for it.
I'm just happy that people that didn't even know me, you know, let me get my rights, because even all the officers said that I didn't have no rights when they were doing that to me.
Of course, I reached out to Dearborn to see if they had any reaction to this verdict. I didn't hear back, but I wanted to know whether or not this officer is still working for the department and in what capacity.
No.
I have no doubt that he, just like so many others before him, will be reduced to desk duty, and he'll get to keep his salary and he'll get to keep his pension. That's just a guess, because, you know, history teaches us that the tyrants favor their other fellow tyrants.
Oh, that is one I saw.
People who are ruling you
superhero
We're
thing.
going to make it the normal course of action.
That's the
Like
first
I
one that
said,
came up. I didn't think that was who you were
roughshod
talking
all the
about,
rest
though.
of us
It's a Superheroes
law. It's
Unite or
called
something.
deprivation of
Ooh, nice
rights
boob.
under color of law. What law did this Dearborn officer think that he was operating under? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe.
Talk about a call to love today. In a new life enriching way. Should I get my shoes or no?
I get it, Johnny. I get it.
No shoes. No shoes. No shoes.
Hippie.
I wanna talk about.
Hippie.
What is this from? Okay, we need some super. Prince, can we carry him? Oh, he's making me wear shoes. Okay, look. I want to refrain
Oh, wow.
some of the bullshit that's causing strain. Notice how the first thing we be doing when we show up at people's doorstep is we be asking questions like, what is wrong, instead of how can I make life more wonderful? And these DCFS social worker investigators, they're not coming with empathy. They're not coming with understanding. They're not coming.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. Somebody else was bringing up something about one of his videos, and I was wondering why she reacted the way she did. That explains it.
With skills and tools to make life more wonderful. It's giving me the hibba-jibbas. Thinking about going to DCFS.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you, Johnny.
So in the SAG-AFTRA building is DCFS. I'm getting the hibba-jibbas and nothing's gonna stop me, and it makes sense to me. DCFS be right next to the tar pits. It should be deep inside the tar pits. DCFS, you're about 100 yards the wrong way. You need to be closer in this direction. We need to bury you in the tar pits in the same day. And all in that same day, we're gonna have communities come together, and it's gonna be a golden rainbow, sparkling, shining Care Bear stare, bringing families like mine together. Families like mine together.
Okay. I'm going to have to kill it.
So this is the SAG-AFTRA one.
Oink, 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 I'm the best piggy. Oink, 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 best piggy in the town. Oink, 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 piggy, piggy. Oink, 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 I'm a pig. Oink, 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 I'm the best piggy. Oink, 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 best piggy in the town. Oink, 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 piggy, piggy. Oink, 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 I'm a pig. Can I get piggies in the chat? Piggies in the chat. I'm the best piggy. Piggy in the chat. Can I get some oink oink oink? Oink oink, mother truckers. Oink 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 oink. Oink 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 oink. I'm the best piggy. Oink 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 oink. Best piggy in the town. Oink 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 oink. Piggy piggy. Oink 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 oink. I'm a pig. Oink 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 oink. I'm the best piggy. Oink 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 oink. Best piggy in the town. Oink 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 oink. Piggy piggy. Oink 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 oink. I'm a pig.
Colonies sometime around 1710 or shortly